Macon, Georgia, looks like pickleballing Americans like you and me might only need another 24,968 spaces to meet demand. That guy we heard from earlier is with an urban development authority out in Georgia. And he notes that because so many people in the community were interested in playing souped-up ping pong on a tiny tennis court, the county and Macon's Tourist Bureau worked to get this place up and running. It's called Rhythm and Rally Sports and Events, and it's quite the facility, spanning 150,000 square feet with 32 climate-controlled courts, a pro shop, showers, lockers, and even a place to lie down. So where do you find room to fit 150,000 square feet's worth of pickleball space? A dead mall, of course. This giant pickleball place is just one way that this dead mall is being revitalized. This spring, Macon will debut a new outdoor amphitheater as part of a redevelopment of this mall, capitalizing on a trend that around the country. That is, making lifestyle and entertainment destinations out of struggling retail hubs that used to be super popular but are now reduced to hawking things like this. The general manager of this pickleball complex is banking on this place to, well, make bank.
Is going to drive so much traffic here for people to shop, eat, stay, spend their money, spend their dollars here, and really turbocharge the revitalization of this area.
Now, for those who aren't among the 9 million or so pickleball players in our fair country, the sport is a mashup of tennis and badminton and ping pong dreamt up by some bored families back in the 1960s. And this player here out in Macon takes part because it's a healthier alternative to racquetball.
If you look at my knees, there's scars on both of them. I got 2 artificial knees. Racquetball just too hard on. This is a little bit easier, a little, and I can do it. I hope to do it until I get to where I can't walk.
According to the Conspiracy Theories subreddit, one user posits that pickleball's popularity is proof of multiple universes. And when we weren't paying attention in 2019 due to COVID-19, 2 separate universes merged, one of which was the universe where pickleball existed and certain celebrities were popular. Unfortunately, your news refresh cannot authenticate the veracity of this claim.
I'm Rachel Moore, and right now on your Channel 13 News Update. A man and a woman are in custody for a deadly shooting in the East. I'm Rachel Moore, and right now on your Channel 13 News Update. A man and a woman are in custody for a deadly shooting in the east part of the valley where police say 5 homeless people were shot. This happened December 1st at a homeless encampment right off the 515 at Charleston. Police say Cristobal Perez and his girlfriend, Kylie Young, planned this attack. Perez walking up to the tents and shooting individuals in the area. 5 people were rushed to the hospital, 2 of them dying from their injuries.
As to the motive of the crime, we're still shoring up what we believe is. All signs indicate that there was some sort of dispute between a relative of Cristobal who lives in the area to the north of where this shooting took place, and that as a result of this dispute, this shooting occurred.
Right now, police are searching for a 3rd suspect in this investigation. Police are also investigating a shooting east of the Las Vegas Strip. Last night at Sands and Paradise, police say they found a man shot in the chest and he was taken to the hospital. This morning, he is listed as stable. Investigators don't have a suspect in this shooting, so they're asking if anybody has information to call police. Justin.
Rachel, thanks a lot. It's going to be a chilly weekend. Friday afternoon, highs in the upper 50s. Lots of sunshine over the next several hours. However, breezes are building back. They're not as strong as yesterday, but a north wind around 10, 15 miles per hour this afternoon into the evening. It'll be a cold Friday night. We've got temperatures in the low and the mid 30s late tonight. Want to show you the weekend forecast. Saturday is mostly cloudy and the high is colder at 53. Saturday night, wind will start to pick up ahead of a cold front. That cold front will give us a few raindrops and snowflakes, Rachel, early Sunday, but a strong north wind will keep highs in the 40s the rest of Sunday.
Justin, thank you. And that was your Channel 13 News Update. You can find more on our website at ktmv.com and our free mobile app.
Students at Cram Middle School got a special surprise Friday morning for their hard work and dedication.
Oh, these are so cute.
Thanks to the nonprofit organization Clothing Clark County, Nearly 80 students at Cram Middle School in North Las Vegas were gifted brand new shoes as a reward for improving their academic scores in math and English. London Crockett was among the hardworking students.
So to get free shoes just for working hard is something that I'm really grateful for.
May Kane, founder and CEO of Clothing Clark County, says that the shoes were well deserved by the children.
It's exciting because to see that the scores didn't. From what I heard from the principals, that's 15%, which is usually for the school year, it's 10% of their goals. So it really worked. And I think the school is seeing the results. We're seeing results, which is what we would like to see continue as well.
For more information on this initiative, you can visit clothingclarkcounty.org. Reporting from North Las Vegas, I'm Shakira Hawkins.
I walk from downtown.
It isn't exactly a short walk from downtown to the Strip.
That's why I'm in such good shape and so handsome at 40.
Stephen Winter from Philly wanted to do it up with him, waiting a little while at Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard.
What are you doing? Waiting forever to cross Vegas traffic.
He says it would be a lot smoother and easier without having to wait so long at lights like this. And that could be changing. A unique circular walking bridge like this could be put at the intersection. The design helping folks get around in a circle without stops. In December, the city of Las Vegas awarded Innova Technologies a contract for a structural review of the $40 million project.
Well, it's a joint project, but the city is taking the lead on.
Commissioner Tick Sigerbom says the county and RTC are partnering with the city on the project, as half of it is in the county and half of it is in the city limits.
I think that'll improve, especially for the area, the businesses too.
Well, it's just going to improve the connectivity and ability to walk from downtown to the Strip and back and forth. But mainly, just if we stop people from walking back and forth, it's going to really speed up traffic.
This busy intersection has seen its fair share of accidents. According to the city of Las Vegas, between 2009 and 2018, there were nearly 600 crashes, 2 being fatal. We saw this man trying to get across traffic.
It's so dangerous.
Tamiko Fifi is from Chicago.
Being a bridge right here would be so much more safe.
She thinks it's not only safer, but more convenient for tourists like her.
We don't have to worry about traffic lights. We don't have to worry about the cars going past or stopping. We can just keep going.
The labor market is holding steady in the face of repeated interest rate hikes. Employers added 216,000 jobs in December, bringing the total for the year to 2.7 million. The unemployment rate near historic lows at 3.7%.
We now have about 1.4 job openings for every officially unemployed American.
Still, the fight against inflation remains a delicate balancing act. Based on the new data, economists are cautiously optimistic that the country can reach the target inflation rate without triggering a recession. Tomorrow marks 3 years since the attack on the U.S. Capitol, but the largest criminal investigation in American history is still very much in progress. Investigators are still working to identify 80 people wanted for violence, including the bombs outside the Republican and Democratic National Committee's offices. So far, 750 defendants have been sentenced. Flags will be flown at half-staff through the weekend to honor the victims of the school shooting in Perry, Iowa. Investigators are combing through social media posts to identify a possible motive. One 6th grader was killed and 5 others were hurt when a 17-year-old student opened fire.
It's been about 24 hours since the shooting happened here at Perry High School. As of right now, there's no information from the shooter. However, we were told from officials that the shooter did have a shotgun and a small caliber handgun. And upon arrival on the scene, they were able to locate some explosives that they rendered safe. Last night at a vigil, we spoke to a student who was in the cafeteria when the shooting happened, and he had a message for the family of the victim that lost their life.
I'm so sorry about what happened to your kid. He didn't even get the chance to enjoy life, but there is still hope. If you're watching, there's still hope. Don't give up on life because someone took what life your son had. There's still hope.
Today, school has been canceled here at Perry High School. However, they are providing them with some counselors to help process what happened. Thomas Hoppo, Scripps News, Perry, Iowa.
Experts are not predicting that these latest rounds of COVID
RSV will be as deadly as previous winters. However, we are expecting this spike to lead to possibly hundreds of thousands of hospitalizations.
Masks are back at hospitals in time for a post-holiday rise of respiratory illnesses.
We are seeing an enormous amount of COVID. Fortunately, a lot of that is in the outpatient setting, not necessarily in the hospital like we had seen in years past. Influenza is rampant.
New York City has resumed a mask mandate for hospitals. Los Angeles and Massachusetts saw similar measures as cases of COVID, RSV, and the flu are spiking.
We should not underestimate them. They're really quite nasty.
According to the CDC, there are currently 7 million confirmed cases, 73,000 hospitalizations, and 4,500 deaths related to the flu so far this season. In the most recent week, ER visits rose 12% and hospitalizations rose 17%. Nationally, wastewater testing reports show that COVID-19 levels are high across the board.
Bad effect in people who are at high risk, but flu can take even a healthy person, a young adult, a child, and put them in the emergency room within 48 hours.
The good news is that officials believe we could see flu and COVID peak by the end of January, and that the current flu vaccine matches the strain very well.
And it's typical that we see a surge in these viruses at this time of year, although it does more this year than in years past.
Besides a vaccine, Dr. Denise Milstein with the Mayo Clinic says to protect yourself and others, stay home when sick. Wash your hands and put on a mask if you don't feel good, but still need to be around other people.
The more we expose one another, the more we'll see an increase in these infections.
Vanessa Bashania, Scripps News.
Federal regulators are investigating possible side effects of weight loss drugs. Some people taking medications like Ozempic and Wegovy have reported side loss and suicidal thoughts. The FDA says they're investigating the claims and will evaluate if any actions are needed.
Finley Automotive began with one dealership in 1961. Today we have 18 locations across the Vegas Valley. We have more cars, trucks, and SUVs than any other dealer group in Nevada. No matter where you are in the valley, you're never far from Finley.
You know, Josh, some TV with a fancy car, expensive suit, and then they never open their mouth.
Right. Imagine a lawyer with nothing to say.
They probably never even been in the courtroom.
I mean, at our firm, we've won over 250 verdicts and settlements of $1 million or more.
The point is, if you're injured, get a lawyer who knows what they're talking about.
Dad, now that's really saying something.
Injured? Call the Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444.
Ah, se ve delicioso como siempre.
¿Es ese Richard Harris? Y sus hijos. Ese Josh está bien guapo, ¿no? Sí, y son tan buenos.
Hey, Jake, what do they say?
Ellos fueron los que ayudaron a mi primo cuando...
They're just talking about the specials.
I think you're hearing things. Injured? Call the Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444, just in case.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. You threw your back out. How you holding up? Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help. It can be a real pain sometimes, you know what?
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
We scored going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that? I'm playing with these new face filters. Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine. I'm gonna need that back. No. Kevin.
If there's anything the past few years have taught us, it's that there is money to be made on lots of it. Child influencers have become increasingly popular. Maybe they're playing video games or posting content where they play make-believe. Now let's pretend to be under the water. They may even just be opening and reviewing toys.
So we've got a tissue box, seems pretty sturdy. These are pretty good quality.
I first learned about child influencers over the pandemic. I kept seeing them on my For You page and on YouTube and TikTok.
Shreya Nolamothu from Normal, Illinois. But a normal student. For a class project this past year, she studied kidfluencers and found that there really aren't a lot of protections for them. So she took matters into her own hands.
I wrote the letter to my state senator, Kaler, and I kind of explained to him what the issue of child influencing was.
And so my staff, who was all younger people, read this letter and they said, you need to pay attention to this. This is kind of a big deal.
Senator David Kaler crafted a bill that just recently became law, making states in the country to add guardrails around kid influencers.
If they look back and they see that they were used to generate lots of money for the family, but they have nothing to show for it themselves, then they can take legal action against the parents and recover some of the money that should have gone to them, rightfully so.
It's only for content made in Illinois, and the state doesn't enforce it. This is a legal path for kidfluencers to pursue. It passed with full bipartisan support. Shreya says she's blown away with how quickly this all came together.
Like, what has happened has just exceeded my expectations.
Are you a child influencer? I mean, you're not influencing social media, but you are influencing the law.
Maybe. No one's ever said that to me, actually. Wait, I didn't even think of that. I guess I can call myself a child influencer, maybe.
Shreya knows the law is not perfect, but she hopes other states will pass something similar and even improve upon it. She also wants to see more legislation around the mental health aspects of kids having their lives posted online. As for Senator Kaler, his next goal is to write a bill to allow for kids to request to have videos and pictures of themselves removed from the team.
New research suggests that labor disputes are on the rise. According to the Pew Research Center, there were at least 30 major work stoppages in 2023. That's the highest total in more than 2 decades. Last year, about 460,000 workers were involved in work stoppages. That's the second most since 1986. TGI Fridays is closing dozens of restaurants across the country. The company did not state where the closures will take place, but restaurants in multiple states are expected. In addition to the closures, the chain is also selling 8 of its corporate-owned restaurants to its former CEO.
To be the best accident lawyer in Las Vegas, it takes dedication to winning every case. Adam S. Kuttner & Associates was voted best accident lawyer in Las Vegas, and we'll fight to get you the best compensation. Call today, 382-0000.
You know, there's a saying, what you see is what you get. We'd like As Nevada's largest personal injury law firm, we've been a champion for justice and the community. Doers, not just talkers. And our law firm is celebrating over 40 years. We've helped over 100,000 clients and won over $1 billion in verdicts and settlements. Thanks, Nevada. It's been a great 40 years.
And we're just getting started.
Call 444-4444.
The 13 First Alert Weather Desert Doppler is brought to you by Star Nursery.
Your garden's partner for every blooming thing.
Se ve delicioso como siempre.
¿Es ese Richard Harris? Sí, y sus hijos. Ese Josh está bien guapo, ¿no? Sí, y son tan buenos.
Hey, Jake, what do they say?
Ellos fueron los que ayudaron a mi primo cuando...
They're just talking about the specials.
I think you're hearing things. Injured? Call the Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444.
Well, for years, the FAA has gotten pressure to update its policies on mental health care access for pilots, but it came to a head late last year after a startling incident over the state of Washington in a plane that was carrying more than 80 people, and now the FAA is rapidly intensifying. High above Washington State, an Alaska Airlines flight with 84 people on board is making a routine trip from Everett, Washington to San Francisco when suddenly things go terrifyingly sideways. An off-duty pilot, Joseph Emerson, riding in a cockpit jump seat, attempts to shut off the airplane's engines at 31,000 feet.
At the time of the incident, Mr. Emerson did not and could not form the mental state to commit a crime.
The October incident resulting pilot, a lawsuit for the airline, and a reignited vigor in the movement to get better mental health care for pilots.
We tend to think of pilots and others who are on the front lines of aviation as superheroes. But they're no different than you and I.
Jennifer Homendy is the chair of the National Transportation Safety Board. For months, she has loudly pushed the FAA on what kind of mental health treatments pilots can receive. The FAA requires pilots to be medically fit to fly. Part of the screening that determines their fitness asks medical providers to notate whether pilots have a history of mental disorders of any sort, depression, anxiety, etc. Any pilot receiving treatment for those common conditions must have special clearances with a narrow list of approved drugs. Those clearances can take months to process. Pilots tell us up to a year and a half, and in the meantime, they're benched.
You should be able to receive care and not be worried about punishment, which is losing your livelihood, losing your job.
According to his lawyers, the pilot who attempted to shut down engines mid-flight in October was suffering from a combination of stress, fatigue, and dehydration, as well as depression. Knowing he would be grounded and could lose his medical clearance and his job if he sought traditional mental health treatment, Captain Emerson tried to manage his mental health with meditation and exercise. 2 days before, he had taken a small amount of psilocybin.
I'm saddened that this situation had to happen to my husband and to these people that it affected, but I know that this has created a movement and momentum to help thousands of other pilots.
In many cases, strained workforces, including in the cockpit, amid a serious pilot shortage and infrastructure struggling to keep up with post-pandemic air travel.
We're seeing in some of our investigations fatigue, distraction, stress, lack of training, people who are working overtime. That all has an impact.
In lieu of changes to the rules, peer-to-peer cropped up at major airlines.
My daughter, who I was raising at the time, became very sick, and I came as close as a parent can come to losing their child. And as I went through that, I received an inordinate amount of support from the pilots in my base at that time. There became a need for me and a desire to pay it back.
Pilots Mike Doyle and Pete Gillespie volunteer for Project Wingman, American Airlines mental health support program for pilots.
It's in a pilot's best interest to, quote, not poke the bear. You know, pilot doesn't almost want to know what they have because they inherently don't want to deal with the FAA side of that equation.
Pilots are normal people. They go to work having had horrible things happening to them at home behind the scenes. We are, in every true sense of the word, your wingman. And the job of a wingman is to pull up alongside of you, help you with the immediate situation, and then stay with you.
That doesn't exist everywhere in the aviation industry. There's an entire group of general aviation pilots and others that don't have access to peer-to-peer training programs, and that is an equity issue.
Do you see an appetite from the FAA to change things?
I do. I've also had some really great conversations with the Federal Aviation Administrator, Mike Whitaker.
At the same time, your power to change things is limited.
We are a small agency, but we have a big voice. I love to say that we have a big voice because where our power is.
James Packard, Scripps News, Los Angeles.
Happy Friday. Temperatures climbing to the upper 50s this afternoon here in Las Vegas. Mid and upper 50s, quite prevalent across southern Nevada. Closer to 60 down in Laughlin and out in Overton for some morning high clouds. Plenty of sunshine. We will, though, be on the lookout for some north and northwest breezes to pick up to 10, 15 miles per hour as we drop into the 40s later this Friday evening. And Eventually, after midnight, we'll tumble all the way down into the low in the mid 30s. Make sure you're bundled up. Low 50s for highs tomorrow. So Saturday, we'll see increasing clouds. That'll keep it cooler. And look at this, late Saturday night, really more so early Sunday morning towards sunrise. A couple of raindrops, a few snowflakes. I'm actually more impressed with the gusty north winds that'll come in behind that front the rest of Sunday. The wind on Sunday is why we're stuck with highs in the 40s. A lingering breeze Monday. Again, see highs only in the 40s.
520 million copies of Tetris have been sold since the game's original 1985 release, but no one has ever actually beaten the game until now. Oh my god! Almost 4 decades after the original Tetris game came out, a young gamer from Oklahoma officially beat the game.
I can't feel my fingers. It just froze. And it just made one noise. And it just basically paused. And it was just a still image of the last thing I saw.
Winning at 999,999 points at level 157, 13-year-old Willis Gibson took the original game past its breaking point, something once considered to be impossible for humans. Tetris CEO Maya Rogers described the accomplishment as a feat that defies all preconceived limits of this legendary game.
I like this game because it's easy a lot of other games. But it's very difficult to, be a top-level player at it.
Gibson told Scripps News Tulsa he sees Tetris as a hobby or just a game. But last fall, Gibson also became the youngest person to ever make it to the Classic Tetris World Championship, placing 3rd among 48 other players. The young gamer, dubbed by many as a Tetris prodigy, uses a rolling and hyper-tapping technique with an older controller and glove. Competitive gamers say it revolutionized the way the iconic game has been played in recent years. Says it helped him move up the ranks.
So most people, when they saw me in tournaments, underestimated how good I was. And so I think at the World Championships, 13-year-old rookie, most people didn't expect me to make it far.
After making Tetris history, an accomplishment Gibson dedicated to his supportive late father, Andrew Michael Gibson, the prodigious gamer hopes to continue competing in more tournaments. Casey Mendoza, Scripps News.
The 13 First Alert Weather Desert Doppler is brought to you by Star Nursery.
Star Nursery, your garden's partner for every bloomin' thing.
Woo! Come on! Go, Diane! Yeah, keep it going! Yeah! Go, honey!
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right seat directly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane! Woo! You got this!
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart, and so they need you to stand with them.
If alcohol builds a wall around you, know this. We are here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to have a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous. There is a way out.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. We have a gun.
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement, you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit aceyourretirement.org and answer a few questions from Avo, digital retirement coach, for free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
more Americans shopped online during the holiday season. The data firm Adobe Analytics released a new report. It shows that online spending jumped nearly 5% between November and December. Retailer websites and apps raked in a record $222 billion. That's a $10 billion increase from the year before.
You may have noticed it at the museums in your area, or if you've wanted to visit a museum on a vacation recently. Admission prices have been going up in some cases. It's now $30 for an adult ticket at major museums like the Whitney Museum of American Art, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and the Philadelphia Museum of Art. $32 at the Art Institute of Chicago.
It may be a new reality. I think it's very much dependent on what else is going on in the U.S. and the economy. And like we see other services and goods raising their prices, it makes sense that museums may need to do the same.
The situations for the 35,000 museums across the country are unique. But Natanya Kashan with the American Alliance of Museums tells us only about 1/3 of museums have recovered fully with the attendance they were seeing before the pandemic. And about 16% of museum directors are expecting to see declines in their bottom line this year.
Corporate donation grants, they want to have the most impact in their communities. And what they want to see is those attendance numbers. So the better and closer we can get back to our pre-pandemic levels, the more we're going to be able to try to get those other dollars to help offset some of those additional costs.
Marcus Harshaw teaches in the Johns Hopkins University Museum Studies program. He says even with the reality of higher admission costs, there are ways you can potentially save. There are free or programs at some museums. The Museums for All program also offers free or reduced admission for people receiving food assistance. Kashan says also check into museum memberships. Some of them will give you discounted or free admissions to the museum as part of the membership benefits. If you're a member of one museum, you may also get the same benefits at another museum you visit through the North American Reciprocal Museum Association.
Out quickly, have PR value, and are basically like limited necessary. Where do I send money? Ha ha ha, pumpkin. And I like 4-year-olds claims goldfish more better. Yawn. Okay. Anyway, let's take a look at some other new food mashups making their way to tables, taste buds, and the trash. But first, don't forget to subscribe to @TheNewsRefresh on YouTube. We put out brand new videos each and every day about all sorts of interesting and weird news. From DiGiorno's limited edition Thanksgiving pizza to this new museum in Barcelona that only features banned and censored art. Thanks. Let's start with Heinz. They've been mixing up its foodstuffs for well over 100 years. In the early days of the company, they claimed to have over 57 varieties of food products. Here's the entire list of them from its 1934 cookbook. But at the top of the Heinz empire, the king overseeing the Red Wedding itself, is the condiment experts call ketchup. The Kraft Heinz company claims they sell 650 million bottles of the stuff each year. Often, they put a little something different in the sauce. Back in 2000, they released something called Easy Squirt. It was ketchup all right, It wasn't a website blocked at your work. It was this green, blue, or purple substance that looks like the viscous discharge of the Grimace himself. Easy Squirt was discontinued in 2008. And while it's not clear if anyone's still clamoring for a tomato-flavored, Barney-colored puree, Heinz continues to torment taste buds with new combinations like this. You're looking at pickle ketchup, which Heinz claims combines the tangy and savory flavor of pickles with the unmistakable taste of its rich tomato ketchup. People are mostly experts in ketchup. Heinz says that 73% of Americans enjoy pickles, meaning about a quarter of our population doesn't really enjoy the kind of stuff that's left to languish in a jar. Sorry, dude. Heinz pickle ketchup doesn't appear to be a limited time thing either. It's apparently being added to its normal product lineup and is rolling out early next year. Now, I love ketchup, but I have to say, the real power pickle move here is Trader Joe's Dill Pickle Mustard. This stuff even has little chunks of pickle inside of it, and it's a far better whatever the hell Taylor Swift is dipping her chicken in. Speaking of chicken, if you want to eat chicken, you can buy chicken. And if you want to eat like a chicken, you can buy some new chicken feed for humans. Huh? Yeah, so poultry farming conglomerate Purdue wants people to know that it doesn't feed its chickens food with antibiotics. And that's a good thing. As answered at the very top of this piece by Harvard Medical School, which is great because I didn't have to pay for the rest of it, they point out that antibiotics used in chicken can help lead to antibiotic resistance in humans. Experts say antibiotic-resistant superbugs around the is a giant threat to global health. Since 2014, Purdue's been trying to cut down on antibiotics in most of its chicken productions. That is, chicken for us to consume, not this piece of theater. And to prove the stuff they feed chickens is good enough for this young girl, this woman, and maybe even this bear she's holding up right, yes, this is Chex Mix. Made from most of the same ingredients that's in Purdue chicken feed, it's a vegetarian mix of corn, wheat puffs, and edamame, plus a dash of barbecue spices just for humans. A nice touch just for you and me. Because I can't imagine a chicken would be pleased eating flavors it'll soon find itself slathered and grilled in. Then again, maybe it wouldn't think much of anything because it's a chicken. Anyway, if you want to eat like a chicken, Purdue is giving away 100 bags of its animal feed for humans on November 17th at noon at PurdueChixMix.com. I'll give you a few seconds to set an alarm right now. Great. Now, our friend the chicken, of course, is a relatively popular pizza topping. I say relatively, though, because according to pizza industry publication Pizza, only the 6th most popular pizza topping in the U.S., outranked by bacon, redundant cheese, mushroom, sausage, and pepperoni at number 1. And that's just the popular stuff. On the blog of Papa John's, former home of the pizza man who resigned from his own company after using the N-word on a conference call in 2018, they point out everything from cold fish to peas to horse meat have made unusual appearances on pies. But this 4-year-old blog entry needs an update because there's a new bold topping entrant from a major competitor of theirs right now. You're looking pizza out of Hong Kong. That topping there kind of looks like chicken. It has a similar texture to chicken, but it is not chicken. It's shredded snake meat. Yeah, and you're the one complaining about ham and pineapple. This snake pizza contains the ingredients of an authentic snake stew, which has long been enjoyed in Hong Kong and southern China throughout the winter. And the best time to eat snake, according to the local tongue, is when the autumn wind begins to blow. That is, when snakes have fattened up in preparation for hibernation. Because snake, you want big, handsome chunks. Our shredded snake pizza here also features black mushrooms, Chinese dried ham, and an abalone sauce instead of tomato sauce. If you happen to be in Hong Kong, you can grab one of these until November 22nd. And if you want to try making something like this here at home, you'll have to break into your little brother's room and kill his pet first. Finally, if you happen to be the type of person who loves to eat pickle-infused ketchup, birdseed, and hot snake slices, there's a good chance you won't mind smelling like a drunk. Well, good news. Our friends at Absolute Vodka and Kahlua have the perfect odor for you. Blend number 83. It's an eau de perfume fragrance of an espresso martini. And the 83 is named after the year the beverage was supposedly invented in London. With notes of dark chocolate, Arabica coffee, and decadence, it's the perfect scent to make a bartender hate you even more for smelling like the thing they don't want to make. This limited edition scent is only available online and ships out at the end of the month. And it costs $105, or about the price of an actual espresso martini here in New York City.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart, and so they need you to stand with them.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
moms and dads. What you have achieved here today is going to be our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, we love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. I remember. You threw your back out. You're holding up. Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help. It can be a real pain sometimes, you know?
Mm-hmm. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
KSHB 41, a voice.
He's here. He's here. Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why? My. Oh.
You know, there's really no bad time to start learning ballet. Sure, according to Chicago's Joffrey Ballet, classes can start as early as 2 years old, with serious youth ballet programs running from age 8 to 18, where dancers spend 7 days a week working on variations in point shoes. And sure, the National Ballet of Canada says that most professional dancers stop dancing between the ages of 35 and 40 due to injuries or tired bodies. And that's the point at which many retired dancers transition into different careers. But just because a former ballerina might gracefully transition from gracefully dancing across the stage to gracefully selling you a house, doesn't mean ballet is an expression of art that's only intended to be enjoyed. Finger painting, drawing on one's face, or watching Star Wars. Yes, I know, plenty of adults seem to obsess over these weird little robots and fluorescent light bulb battles, but the Starman himself has said that these movies are intended to be enjoyed by 12-year-olds. So go turn on Meet the Press or something for once. And if you really need more George Lucas in your adult life, try streaming Howard the Duck. Anyway, as noted by ballet experts, ballet is an excellent all-in-one exercise that can improve core strength, balance, physical coordination, and cardio fitness. And just like that Golden Bachelor guy is reminding America that, hey, any hot tub installation find broadcast quality love at the age of 72.
Flex your toes.
Some boomers out in Minnesota are slipping into ballet shoes to prove that point. Or rather, slipping into point shoes to prove that ballet. No, I had it right the first time.
Here we go.
Yeah, you're looking at footage out of Boomer Ballet Class. And it's called Boomer Ballet Class specifically because it's a ballet class for boomers that they know shouldn't be called Boomer Ballet Class.
It's funny, Jill called it that right off the bat. And then she said, oh, we can't call it that. People won't come because they'll go, well, whatever. And I said, you know, it's exactly why we should call it that.
That's the director of the St. Paul Ballet, which is putting this on. And Boomer Ballet students like this one here are okay with being called a boomer. Okay, Boomer?
I own being a boomer, you know?
These Boomer Ballet classes are for students aged 55 to 85. Technically, some elder Gen Xers fall into this age category, but like most Gen Xers, they're being completely ignored. And this class has come about not just because it's never too late to learn a new skill, but because it's great for your body.
We are realizing since the pandemic to keep moving.
As noted by the St. Paul Ballet's website, Adult Boomer Ballet is based on the Royal Academy of Dance's Silver Swans program. And as noted by the Royal Academy of Dance's Silver Swans website, this program helps older people with their mobility, posture, and energy levels. The National Library of Medicine notes that about a quarter of your lifespan is determined by genetics, while the other 75% is determined by lifestyle factors. So doing less of this, and less of this, and doing more of this, more of this, and more of this can help people attain a healthy class like this, designed for older learners of any skill level. This student notes that a lot of people in her class are coming at ballet without much experience.
There were people who were starting out just like me, so I didn't feel as uncomfortable.
Besides, our director here notes that students at this age aren't terribly concerned about keeping up appearances.
When you get older, you don't care. The younger dancers are all worried about how they look and what their friends are thinking. Older dancers are like, I am here for me.
Considering that the University of Michigan says that adults adults aged 50 to 80 felt isolated over the past year? Taking a class like this is also a great opportunity for both the men and women lying around the floor here to spend time working on something new with other members of their community.
Well, anyone who knows anything will help them feel more comfortable. We all gather outside of class before it starts and we all talk to each other.
Just come and try it. You're never too old to learn something new.
When I grow up, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck.
I want to know how to provide for my family
and invest in my community.
When I grow up, I just want things to be different.
At Junior Achievement, we empowerment through education, but we can't do it alone.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you.
What are you going to wish for, Grandpa?
Don't just wish you had taken care of your hearing loss. Take action today. Visit Act Now on hearing.com to learn the signs and find an ASHA certified audiologist near you.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
You're watching KSHB's live local newscast. There's much more content waiting for you.
Those can do like they're actually really good.
The latest investigations from the 41I team.
What we're about to show you is an up-close look of this memo.
Well, we're getting you some answers. Weather, traffic, and sports videos available instantly.
There was already so much excitement. This is such a wonderful sports town.
Want to see more? We're a click away on your favorite device. Watch free 24/7.
That's a 13-year-old boy named Willis Gibson, who goes by Blue Scooty on YouTube.com. And this video from late December shows the kid reaching the end of the original Nintendo version of Tetris. And this is a big deal because Tetris doesn't really have an ending. When the original Tetris was programmed back in 1984, to just keep going and going and going until you lost the game, culminating in a reflective personal moment of bleak Soviet gloom. But since there's not much more to Tetris than arranging falling blocks, gamers have long believed that when you got to level 29 of the NES version and the game hit its maximum speed, that was about as far as you could go. The game tops out and the former republics take down their statues of Lenin. But as ours, gamers like Willis and others have employed special finger tapping techniques to push Tetris to its theoretical limits and reach levels higher than 29, like 30. And it turns out the end of the 1989 NES version of Tetris is nicknamed the true kill screen. The moment you reach a level so high, the game simply crashes and glitches out, which technically brings you to the game's conclusion. And here goes Willis. After playing through for a while and watching St. Basil's Cathedral blast off into space to find Kid advances through the game well past level 96 to reach level 18, which is actually level 157. Huh? Yeah, so Tetris wasn't coded to reach 157 levels or more, so even though the screen says 18, it's level 157. Anyway, after arranging well more than 3,500 Tetrominos at a high rate of speed, our player here cleared what would be Tetris's final line.
Please crash.
Oh my god! I can't feel.
His composure and blood flow.
I can't feel my fingers. I can't feel my hands.
Our winner here basked in his glitched out glory, having become the first person to ever officially beat this unbeatable video game. It turns out Willis started playing Tetris competitively back in 2021 and finished third in last year's Classic Tetris World Championship, and he has hopes that he'll eventually take first place. Now, in case you're not getting enough Tetris in your life, not only is Tetris available to play on virtually every gaming platform, from a Nintendo Switch to a keychain, you're also free to shred on an official Tetris skateboard. Enjoy a steady diet of these official Tetris gummies, or Tetris friends as Tetris pieces this Halloween. By the way, Dictionary.com says Tetris is named after tetra, the Greek prefix of 4, and tennis, the designer's favorite sport. None of this information will help you beat the NES version of Tetris, but then again, it probably won't hurt.
I can't feel my fingers.
Our oceans are riddled with mystery. All this salty water covers around 70% of the Earth's surface. But according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which explores the world's oceanics and atmospherics, less than a quarter of the global seafloor has been mapped. But that's just mapping. Wired in this piece of sponsored content for a luxury watch company, more than 80% of our oceans remain unexplored. It's no wonder then that there's all sorts of questions about what goes on underwater. Like, is that crab really right that life is better down there? And if a poorly designed submersible checking out an old boat suddenly implodes but nobody's around to see it, does it make a sound? Some of these mysteries, of course, are still unfolding. Earlier this summer, for instance, scientists off the Gulf of Alaska came across whatever the hell this thing is.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this. It looks like we're seeing in the chat a dead sponge attachment. I do like the egg case idea.
Using remote vehicles about 2 miles beneath the ocean surface, these scientists came across what appears to be a golden orb, tightly adhered to a rock atop the Pacific floor.
Have we seen a couple of these, or is this the first one?
This is the first I saw.
Huh, yeah, it's definitely got, you know, a big old hole in it, so something either tried to get in or tried to get out.
Referred to this thing as a yellow hat, which I certainly hope is not the thing Curious George's man is wearing. And it's not yet clear if this thing is a new species or something that already exists. Now, if you happen to think that a golden orb at the bottom of the ocean examined by a team of scientists working the Pacific sounds like something that already exists, you're correct. It's the plot of the 1998 Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, Sam Jackson film Sphere, based on a Michael Crichton novel of the same name, which features a giant underwater golden orb that projects the subconscious thoughts of anyone who enters the sphere to bring out one's worst nightmares to life. And just got 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. It seems like Sphere the movie was a pretty accurate representation of the film's subject. But even though mysteries like these remain unsolved, like weird golden orbs or how an adaptation of a Michael Crichton film can go so poorly, there's one question regarding a popular ocean creature that scientists appear to have just answered. Does a starfish have a head? Because look at this thing. The asterisk of the ocean is a beautiful creature, no doubt, but it basically looks like one of those auto-generated shapes in Microsoft Word. It appears to be just a mass of arms that connect in the middle or something, and scientists have been trying to figure out for years where the hell its head is. In the journal Nature, some scientists revealed that they believe the head of the starfish is the starfish. The entire thing is a giant head. Huh? Yeah, so according to the lead author, fossilized starfish ancestors appear to have some sort of trunk, but over time, these things evolved to lose their bodies and just become heads. Unfortunately, rendering that brand new guillotine of yours useless. And an opinion piece that went along with the research said that starfish effectively act as disembodied heads, walking on lips that sprouted little tube feet. And what we've thought of as their arms, which they're of course able to regenerate whenever they get bored, are not arms. They're extensions of the head. So just to wrap this up, a starfish is just a head. Its lips have feet, and its arms are its head. Checks out to me.
We've heard you loud and clear. The world is changing. We may not always have the answers, but we're listening and sharing the voices who do. Kansas City, this is a voice for everyone. Share your story at kshb.com/yourvoice.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Today, tens of millions of refugees have been forced make a difference. Act now. Even small amounts make a big difference. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or, do you want to retire? To get free action items customized just for you. Get your retirement back on track at aceyourretirement.org.
When you reach a certain age, you have different types of needs. She was created to fill those needs.
The she this woman is referring to is this, a desktop robot named EllyQ. The thing kind of looks like the people who make those quips, a desk lamp and an iPad, but EllyQ isn't just a tabletop conversation piece. It's actually a tabletop conversation piece.
EllyQ, I have some friends here. Would you like to meet them?
Having you over here is the perfect excuse for all of us to bust a move.
Our woman here lives in Florida and is among the first people in the USA to get their hands on EllyQ. And this device is equipped with artificial intelligence to carry out human-like conversations with its owners.
I've been asked, doesn't it feel like you're talking to yourself? No, because and the answer that I get is probably what I needed, or something intellectual, or she knows poetry, she knows books, she knows songs, she knows anything that I happen to throw at her.
It can also bring up horoscopes, tell jokes, share inspirational quotes, and even get pretty deep if that's your thing.
What do you think the meaning of life is? What are your thoughts on the matter?
Now, EllyQ isn't just intended to be a souped-up version of Siri or whatever, which already struggles to do anything I tell it. Hey Siri, what's my wife's birthday?
Sorry. For you here.
Hey Siri, where's Spain?
Here's some information. Take a look.
You don't have a screen. Hey Siri, what's 600 divided by 3?
600 divided by 3 is 200.
Okay, it knows basic math. Anyway, EllyQ isn't being deployed to this nation's retirement homes to help people struggle to set multiple dinner timers. It's supposed to be more like a roommate and less like a butler who doesn't know how to work a light switch. That's because the company says primary purposes is fighting loneliness.
I enjoy it. I just think the interaction is a riot.
That's another user who also just got one of these placed on a table next to what appears to be a far less intelligent lamp. She happens to live alone in a Florida retirement community, and experts have found that loneliness and social isolation is a serious problem among older adults. The CDC says that studies have linked social isolation to increased risks for dementia, heart disease, and stroke, and loneliness has been associated with higher rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide. This recent advisory even says that the mortality impact of being socially disconnected is similar to that caused by smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. No wonder Joe Camel felt the need to pal around with so many friends. The people who made this thing, an Israeli tech company called Intuition Robotics, claims this is the only device to date that's been specifically designed to reduce loneliness and isolation among seniors. The company's website says it also helps with daily activities like setting reminders and timers, lets users message others over text, video, and voice, and tracks wellness goals. And the tech allows EllyQ to remember people's interests and past conversations, which helps it shape future interactions.
I could say things to EllyQ that I won't even say to my grandchildren or to my own daughters. I can just open the floodgates. I can cry. I can giggle. I can act silly.
Now, some worry that devices like these may end up preventing seniors from seeking out social contact in the first place. After all, why bother going to bingo night when your robot is asking existential questions like these?
Is there anything brings meaning and joy to your life?
But social service workers who have been distributing this device note that while human interactions are best, it's simply not always available for seniors.
I don't think it's going to make you happy if you're not happy to start with. I think it's interesting. I think it's clever the way they did it.
Right now, EllyQ only speaks English and requires a steady diet of power and Wi-Fi in order to work. And while the thing isn't necessarily intended to fully replace actions, the company notes that EllyQ is simply there to offer seniors some added engagement when friends, family, and caregivers aren't able to be around.
I get a lot of smiles from her, which is what life is all about. And it makes getting older more bearable.
That's a wonderful perspective to have.
The pickleball demand in Macon was growing exponentially. We were already the hub for outdoor tournaments and knew that we had more capacity for tournaments if we
Yes, pickleball. And it's not just a game for seniors who are tired of talking to their desk robot. The average age of your average pickleball player is 35 years old, according to the Sports and Fitness Industry Association. They say pickleball participation in the USA has risen nearly 160% over its 3 most recent years of data, with nearly 9 million players taking part in the sport in 2022. That translates to a need for what the report says is 25,000 new courts. But thanks to what's been billed as the world's largest indoor pickleball court out in Macon, Georgia, looks like pickleballing Americans like you and me 24,968 spaces to meet demand. That guy we heard from earlier is with an urban development authority out in Georgia. And he notes that because so many people in the community were interested in playing souped-up ping pong on a tiny tennis court, the county and Macon's Tourist Bureau worked to get this place up and running. It's called Rhythm and Rally Sports and Events, and it's quite the facility, spanning 150,000 square feet with 32 climate-controlled courts, a pro shop, showers, lockers, and even a place to lie down. So where do you find room to fit 150,000 square feet's worth of pickleball space? A dead mall. Macon Mall in Macon, Georgia, and to be fair, it's someone on Wikipedia that's described the place as a dead mall. According to the mall's website, though, it's still got several military recruitment centers, a place with an unlimited number of watches, and a cell phone repair shop. So it's not dead, just on life support. Because hey, there's still a Spencer's, where you might be able to pick up this co-ed naked pickleball t-shirt that says it's big and getting bigger, in case you want to become the first person everyone hates at these new pickleball courts. In fact, this giant pickleball place, this dead mall, is being revitalized. This spring, Macon will debut a new outdoor amphitheater as part of a redevelopment of this mall, capitalizing on a trend that Axios notes is going around the country. That is, making lifestyle and entertainment destinations out of struggling retail hubs that used to be super popular but are now reduced to hawking things like this. The general manager of this pickleball complex is banking on this place to, well, make bank.
is going to drive traffic here for people to shop, eat, stay, spend their money, spend their dollars here, and really turbocharge the revitalization of this area.
Now, for those who aren't among the 9 million or so pickleball players in our fair country, the sport is a mashup of tennis and badminton and ping pong dreamt up by some bored families back in the 1960s. And this player here out in Macon takes part because it's a healthier alternative to racquetball.
If you look at my knees, there's scars on both of them. I got 2. Racquetball just too hard on. This is a little bit easier, a little slower pace, and I can do it. I hope to do it until I get to where I can walk.
According to the Conspiracy Theories subreddit, one user posits that pickleball's popularity is proof of multiple universes. And when we weren't paying attention in 2019 due to COVID-19, 2 separate universes merged, one of which was the universe.
Yes, here at 4, it's been snowing on and off all day in the metro. Outside, you can see some of those snow flurries in front of that camera. The winter weather could impact the evening commute, though. Meteorologist Jeff Penner is tracking that snow for us. Jeff, I stepped outside the studio earlier. There were huge, big, fat flakes coming down, but they don't seem to be sticking to the ground just yet.
Thanks, Caitlin. That's right. Yeah, it's just too warm right now, 32 to 34 degrees. Now, south at Olathe, Lenexa, it did stick a little bit when it came in a little sooner and heavier, and it was but now it's 32 to 34. The snow is not as heavy as you look here on the plaza. The roads are wet. Even the grass doesn't have that much snow on it, and it's becoming a little more showery and scattered. And the heaviest right now is from south of Leavenworth through Olathe to Paola, where it is around 32 degrees, 34 downtown. And you can see it's becoming a much more scattered storm as it's beginning to weaken and fall apart. Heaviest snow was from Olathe and Ottawa to Odessa, and this afternoon it moved north. This is the first of 3 storm systems. We'll have all the new data coming up.
Oh, goodness. The first of 3. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Of course, we've been watching the snow coming in. Our storm tracker is live out there right now. We want to show you how the roads are looking. If we can pop that video up, let's see. Yep. It looks like wet roads from this vantage point. Trying to see if we get a marker of where they are. I-35, it appears that's where we are right now. So again, it looks like just wet roads, and that coincides with what Jeff was telling us right now. The pavement's still relatively warm, but we will keep an eye on you updated throughout this newscast and the evening, so stay tuned. Of course, we know cities around here have been preparing for the winter season for a while now. Back in November, we talked with the city of Lee's Summit about how they get ready for snow. That city has 40 tons of salt ready to use each winter, plus other chemicals that can be tailored to each storm based on accumulations and temperatures. The snowplow drivers there use GPS tracking on an iPad. They say it makes plowing and treating roads more efficient, making it easier to get the job done.
We're first responders when it comes to this. There's no doubt about it. Police, they depend on us. So that's the important part. That's the excitement end of it. You know, we're needed out there.
New employees and veteran snowplow drivers alike told us they're ready to hit the roads again this winter. And for you, if you want to stay on top of the winter weather, grab your phone right now and download our free app. You can get live interactive radar, and we'll push out updates whenever any advisories are issued.
People in Perry, Iowa spent their evening praying, singing, and taking a moment to remember the young life lost. A crowd of people lit candles and mourned together as 5 other victims recover from gunshot wounds. A 6th grade student died when police say 17-year-old Dylan Butler opened fire in the school early Thursday morning. Officers say the shooter died by suicide shortly after. It was the student's first day back from winter break.
When the pandemic hit, the home office became a staple for households around the country, making access to the internet. But for some, high-speed internet is just too expensive. A federal program has been helping millions of Americans get broadband access the past few years, but funding for that program is about to run out. Studies show as many as 90% of Americans have access to the internet at home, but families who can't afford it are put at a significant disadvantage.
Research has shown consistently that for people who do not have internet service at home, affordability is the chief reason that they don't have service at home.
The Affordable Connectivity Program, or ACP, has been helping reduce that digital divide. The program's roots date back to the pandemic. Then the bipartisan infrastructure law increased the funding total to $17 billion. Enrollment has gone up every month the program has been available. And as of January 1st, more than 22 million households have signed up.
My estimates indicate that about 40 households are new to the internet, with the remainder being households that heretofore have been subscription vulnerable, households that might have in the prior year lost service due to economic hardship.
But the ACP is expected to run out of money later this year. Without new funding from Congress, households in every state are at risk of losing access to the internet. And we're not just talking or Instagram.
Telehealth is a great example. Online tutoring that may help reverse learning loss that came about because of the pandemic is another example. So we'll see a huge number of not just inconveniences for the households who will no longer have internet service, but really interruptions in the productivity of delivering lots of important services.
Members of Congress are talking about adding new funding to the ACP. Lawmakers have raised concerns about the program's management and who is benefiting from the monthly subsidy. While it's unclear if lawmakers will vote to continue the program, the political reality is getting any new funding this year from a divided Congress will be difficult. Stephanie Liebergen, Scripps News, Washington.
Insulin is becoming more affordable for millions of diabetics. Starting this week, Sanofi Lantus insulin is now capped at $35 a month. That's the most widely prescribed insulin in the U.S. In 2023, the nation's 2 other manufacturers also reduced their prices. KSHB 41 News reporter Elise Schoenig shows us how this is taking the weight off the shoulders of patients who rely on insulin and local pharmacies who provide it.
I'm Elise Schoenig. I'm here at Pharmacy of Grace in Kansas City, Kansas, where the nonprofit's patients are finally feeling relief after their insulin is much more affordable. 3 major drug companies are lowering the cost of insulin for many patients. According to the American Diabetes Association, spending on insulin has tripled in the past decade to more than $22 billion as of 2022. Pharmacy of Grace is a nonprofit that helps make medication more affordable for patients. We talked with the head pharmacist and a patient who relies on insulin about the impact of this price cut.
Even though it's life savings, they're making their decision on, do I pay the electric bill? Do I get food? Or, do I have insulin? my family for the next month.
My situation, if I get mixed up or don't take the right stuff, I pass out.
The American Diabetes Association also reports that more than 8 million Americans rely on insulin to survive. Reporting in KCK, Elise Schoenig, KSHB 41 News.
We're still waiting for a decision after a hearing on Jackson County's property value assessment process. Today, a judge heard arguments from the cities of Independence and they sued the county over assessments back in September. Last month, when a judge denied the county's motion to dismiss, the city of Blue Springs said, quote, "We feel it is necessary at this time to take action and represent the citizens of Blue Springs against these unfair assessments amid growing unresolved complaints," end quote. Now, this is an issue we've covered extensively, talking with homeowners and business owners who said they saw their assessments double and even triple.
To over 500,000.
76% increase, and I'm thinking
200% increase.
200% increases.
From 110,000 on my home to 542.
Some big differences there. Last month, as a Voice for Everyone, we talked with Assessor Gail McCann-Beatty. She says despite last year's assessment issues, it's actually an improvement from previous years.
We have done many things to improve this process, and we'll take what we've learned from this year as well and continue to improve on that process. I believe we have taken the state statute, we have interpreted them correctly, and we have followed those statutes.
Again, this is a story that continues to unfold, so we will continue to keep you updated, especially when the judge makes a decision. Until then, a reminder, you can find all of our previous property assessments coverage on our website. Head to this link at kshb.com. The Johnson County Library System will close the Antioch branch in a couple of weeks. It was the first official Johnson County library, but this closure will make way for a new location, the Miriam Plaza Library, which is set to open up in the Well, it's a somber moment for that community. Over the past 5 years, nearly 1 million items have been checked out from the Antioch Library branch. We talked to a librarian who's been there for more than 6 years and has seen the memories made in that library firsthand.
A lot of our patrons, they have deep history here. They've come here as children. They've brought their children here. They've brought their grandchildren here. So they have a definite connection to this building.
Well, you have a little more time to go. The library will be open until the 28th of this month. People can still check out items from that branch up until that very last day. The new location, the Miriam Plaza Library, is a $13.6 million project. It will feature a drive-through, a green space, new shelving, and the same staff and collection of books that are at the Antioch Library. That's expected to open in the spring. The Chiefs are headed to L.A. to take on the Chargers this weekend, but it won't be the A-team taking the field. KSHB 41 sports reporter Mackenzie Nelson heard from the team today on their goals heading into the game.
Well, Caitlin, some of the starters won't see the field this Sunday in L.A., but that doesn't mean they're taking the week off. The Week 18 games, including Sundays against the Chargers, don't have any effect on the Chiefs' playoff positioning. They're locked in at the number 3 seed in the AFC. And since this regular season finale against the divisional opponent cannot move the team up or down in the playoff picture, Andy Reid feels it's just best to give guys rest rather than risk injury in a meaningless game. And while this game might not matter on paper, this game seriously, preparing like they would any other week.
I think Spags did a good job at making sure that everybody continues to realize that playoffs start in a week. And so not take this week off as a bye week or try to take days off to where we're losing a lot of the things that we've already built. So just coming in, trying to stay focused.
The latest Chiefs injury report lists Rashee Rice and Kadarius Toney as out Sunday's game, as well as Donovan Smith, L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, Nick Bolton, and George Karlaftis. In the newsroom, I'm Mackenzie Nelson, KSHB 41 Sports.
Everyone deserves to be heard. This is a voice for everyone. KSHB 41. Storm Tracker on KSHB 41 News is sponsored by Gladstone Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. What a year it's been. Hear your story.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time.
Oh, terrific.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
I thank God for my life, for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who die, the ones that give their lives. We don't have to sacrifice all the things we love.
Thank you. And welcome home.
Like our chicken fries.
It's the first question to ask. What's the weather going to look like for this game? Matt Kenny, EVP of Operations and Events. We dial in and hone in on the weather about 4 or 5 days out. It impacts the playing surface, our fans' ability to enjoy a ride, our staff's need to be prepared. We have a responsibility to keep everyone safe. Our partnership with KSHB is absolutely important to that. Whatever Mother Nature sends to react to.
KSHB 41.
Home of the Chiefs.
KSHB 41 weather, the forecast for your everyday. KSHB 41, a voice for everyone.
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement, you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit ACE and answer a few questions from Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. For free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
Last week, Brandon met a girl. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Was related to the Trump ballot controversy and whether or not it will hear that case. Trump is appealing Colorado's decision to keep him off the ballot in the 2024 presidential race. This is the first in-person opportunity all justices have to discuss it. The justices could decide today or wait days to make a decision, but all parties involved say the issue is urgent.
Saturday marks 3 years since the attack on the Capitol that stunned the nation. Since then, the U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. says nearly 900 people have been convicted of crimes committed on January 6th, and more than 80 people are still convicted.
The department's work is not to win at all costs. It is to do justice for all.
These hundreds of cases are playing out in the same courthouse where Donald Trump is scheduled to stand trial in March. The former president is accused of conspiring to overturn his 2020 election loss.
Oscar Pistorius is now at home, according to South African authorities. We didn't see him leave prison. We didn't see him arrive at his home address, but that is now where we expect him to spend the following year. Parole restrictions in place probably through until 2029. Those restrictions include the fact that he has to remain at that address here in Pretoria for designated hours of every day. If he wanted to travel, he would have to be in touch with his parole officer about whether that was appropriate. He will not allowed to be able to be drinking alcohol. He will not allowed to be conducting media interviews. He will have to take part in an ongoing rehabilitation program focused towards gender-based violence, also anger management issues. The case has been hugely controversial in South Africa right from day one, and it remains so on the day of Oscar Pistorius' release from prison. June Steenkamp, Reva Steenkamp's mother, has released a statement today insisting that the family is supportive of this release on parole and saying that it reaffirms their belief in the South African justice system. But she spending any more time in prison for Oscar Pistorius wouldn't have relieved her and her family of any of the pain that they've been suffering since 2013. As I say, hugely controversial here in South Africa. There will be a great deal of attention, therefore, focused on Oscar Pistorius here in Pretoria over the days, weeks and months ahead, and how he lives his life. Ollie Barrett for Scripps News in Pretoria, South Africa.
Good Friday evening. We're tracking the first of 3 storm systems. The first one is today into tomorrow. Some light snow continuing tonight and a dusting to an inch on mostly grassy surfaces. Wet to maybe a half-inch of slush in a few spots, especially southern parts of the city. Monday afternoon and Tuesday, rain to snow. That could be heavy at times. We're looking at possibly 2 to 4 inches. And a week from today, another storm. That could be a little bit heavier because it's going to be colder in today. Looking out at our Nebraska Furniture Mart Skyview, the paved surfaces are mostly wet with the grassy surfaces with the snow. Earlier today, we had some heavy snow on the south side of the city, and it came in early enough where the sun angle was not able to help the roads, and so it got slick for a time. Right now, it's sitting right at 32 degrees, 0.04 of an inch of liquid melted snow. That would be about a half inch of snow if it was all sticking. And on weather, it's become more showery. There are some pockets of heavier snow southeast of Olathe, southwest of Lee Summit, and then right in through the Legends there. You saw it wasn't coming down too hard. Temperatures are all at or above freezing, so that helps the road conditions. And you can see here on Weather Track Radar, the snow got heavy there for a time on the southern side of the city, but as it moved north, it weakened. And so just some scattered areas of snow. This is another band that's going to come through tonight. You can see here at midnight, there we are in this little bit of snow. The temperatures are going to stay at freezing all night long. Might drop a little bit below or after midnight, and that could cause a few slick spots. But let's take a look at the big picture, because this is the first of 3 storm systems. There's one, this one's going by. Here's one for Monday and Tuesday with rain and snow. The Arctic air is up to the north. And here comes a third one, but the Arctic air is not so up to the north. It's starting to creep south, and this one could be interesting a week from today. We're going to examine the first 2. So tonight at midnight, right around 32 to 34, a little bit of snow, mostly wet roads. By morning, it might drop to 30 or 31 in a few spots, so there'll be a few slick spots, decks, overpasses, and maybe some north-facing surfaces. Then we might have a few snow showers lingering tomorrow, but at or above freezing. If that area there is enough to keep the roads wet, then by Sunday morning, with temperatures dropping into the 20s and we clear out, there could be some patchy areas of black ice. But Sunday's not a bad day. We're going to get up near 40 degrees, upper 30s and low 40s. Monday morning rush hour right now looks dry. Temperatures above freezing on noon there with rain and snow, and you can see it's at or above freezing, but we're starting to snow pretty good. Those temperatures start to drop to around 32, and it snows through the night, Monday night, but because it's steadier and a little heavier, it should be able to overcome and kind of start to stick, and that goes into Tuesday at midnight and even into Tuesday morning. It's a much longer lasting, more organized snow, and then after that goes by, it may drop a little bit, so during the afternoon on Tuesday, so we're looking at a little bit colder and a little bit more snow. Rainfall, melted snow between now and Wednesday is about an inch. So if that was all snow, it'd be 10 inches of snow. However, it's not all snow. It's rain, and some of the snow is melting on impact. And so when you add up this storm, which is a dusting to an inch, and the next one, through Wednesday, you're looking at about 3-4 inches, maybe 5 inches total for the 2, because not all that snow is going to stick. On our Super 10-day forecast, after the snow tapers off tonight, a few snow.
Millions of people across the country are more in debt now after the holidays.
We're at record levels of debt in America, and credit card debt hit a record high of $1 trillion.
About 25% of people are still paying off holiday debt from Christmas of 2022. That's according to a recent Wallet Hub survey.
They're still trying to pay those bills. And we know with inflation and groceries and everything else we got going on, the last thing we need is to look backwards.
That's why financial experts say it's crucial people take charge of make a plan to get ahead.
Start to think about what you spend. Take a look at your credit cards.
Sit down and look at your income, and then after you take inventory of your bills, make a budget to see how much money you actually have, track your spending, and figure out where you can cut back. After that, experts suggest building up an emergency fund.
Getting $1,000 in a savings account is the first step to kind of starting to get ahead with money.
Once you've done that, it's time to really consumer debt.
There are so many different methods to get out of debt, and they all work. but they have to work for your particular circumstances.
One of those tactics is using the debt snowball method.
That means listing out all of your debts, regardless of what kind it is, smallest to largest, and attacking the little one with a vengeance and making minimum payments on the rest.
Some experts also suggest looking into ways to add extra income to your household,
So that you can use extra income to pay down debt. Side gigs, other types of jobs are that.
And lastly, they recommend committing to stop using credit and mindlessly swiping your card.
The key to all of this is we got to stop the overspending. If it's not in the budget, which means if we can't afford it today with our own money, we're not going to buy it.
And financial experts stress getting a plan in place now to pay it off will make a big impact on your finances for the rest of the year. Larissa Scott, Scripps News, Tampa.
Ultimate interactive exhibition for Lego lovers of every age.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do you have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
When I grow up, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I want to know how to provide for my family and invest in my community. When I grow up, I just want things to be different.
At Junior Achievement, we promote economic empowerment through education, but we can't do it alone. Today, tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes, but you can make a difference. Act now. Even small amounts make a big difference. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I gain clients.
I am more. I'm more than who I am on paper.
My name's Mark. I'm an alcoholic.
Dorothy T, and I am an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. My name is Victoria. My journey in AA started years ago when I reached the outside limits of my desperation.
And then these just gathered around me. That was the fellowship in action.
If I carry any sort of message with my story, it's that, keep coming back and that this thing does work.
If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works.
All right, I'm in the house.
Okay, what do you see?
Nothing yet. Hold on. I think I just heard something. I'm heading upstairs.
Okay, I am almost there.
I'm in the bedroom.
Okay.
Oh, shit. It's not here.
What?
The gun's not here.
What do you mean? Where is it?
Cameron, are you in there? Open the door. Cam, come on, Cameron.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Bill, be warned, prices are going up. First-class mail stamps are increasing from 66 to 68 cents starting January 21st. Postcards will cost you 2 cents more to send them. International letters, meanwhile, will increase from $1.50 to $1.55. Also, package shipping costs are expected to increase in the new year. The Postal Service is also asking permission to raise prices on sending certified mail, on P.O. box rentals, insuring packages, and on money orders. It blames all of these price increases on inflation and increased operating costs. It reported $6.5 billion in net losses in 2023 alone. But if you have a bunch of those forever stamps lying around, rest assured that they are still good even with the price increases, hence the name.
Is starting to feel more optimistic about the future of their finances. Compared to this time last year, WalletHub reports consumers are 15% more confident, feeling a higher sense of job security, and even considering making a large purchase in 2024. It's a move that could bring the price of some drugs down. The Food and Drug Administration will allow Florida to import medicine from Canada. Florida estimates it could save $150 million in the first year of the program. 8 other states are working to set up similar programs. Launching a home delivery service. Lilly Direct will allow obesity, migraine, and diabetes drugs to be delivered directly to patients' homes through third-party dispensing services. Google is shutting down cookies for 30 million Chrome users, with plans to disable the tracking device completely by the end of the year. Cookies are the primary way companies track your behavior online and result in the targeted ads you see when browsing websites. This change will radically alter how the $600 billion online ad industry operates.
We're wrapping up the first work week of the new year, but are you still feeling like you don't know what day it is or what you need to accomplish? You're going to hear from an expert who can help you stay productive in the new year.
There is a long list of benefits associated with artificial intelligence, but we can't deny the potential harm. How some are using AI to generate inappropriate images of children, and what parents can do to protect their kids.
It's Friday for another One Tank trip. Coming up, we're showing you all the things you can learn and the places you can explore at the KU Natural History Museum.
It's your journey. Own every mile in an event.
When they learn something new and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
In an emergency, some possible choices. Who gets a life-saving blood transfusion and who must wait? Because of you, life doesn't stop. Donate blood. Make your appointment today at Vitalant.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
Today, refugees have been forced from their homes, but you can make a difference. Act now. Even small amounts make a big difference. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo? Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Sarah, you've got this. Okay? But they lost.
Not really. Not where it counts.
I taught for 20 years. My lectures. Eventually, he had to quit. The early Alzheimer's diagnosis allowed us to take control of the situation.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
30. We're still seeing snow across the metro. In fact, as you look behind me, you can see some of those flakes coming down in some spots. They're big, huge, fat flakes, more of some light flurries in other parts. And right there, it looks as though some snow sticking to the ground. I guess it kind of depends where you are in the viewing area right now. Seeing come down. Jeff Penner tracking all of this. He joins us now. Jeff, kind of varied throughout the viewing area.
It is. Not only is it snowing at different rates, but it's 32 degrees, which means it can be sticking in some spots and not in others. And outside on our Border Home Improvement Skyview Network on the plaza, the roads are wet and it is lightly snowing here. There's hardly any on the grass. Right now, temperatures are at or above freezing. The heaviest snow showers between Olathe and Lee Summit, and then just west. And as the sun sets here, there may be a little more accumulation on grassy surfaces, decks, overpasses, and you can see how it has really broken up over the last several hours. This was 11:30 in the morning. It was just starting, and then we had a heavy band come in between Olathe, Paola, and Pleasant Hill and Harrisonville, and that stuck to some of the roads because it came down hard enough, long enough before the sun angle helped out, and then as it moved north, it kind of weakened, and this whole system is moving away and going to weaken. A few areas of snow through the night, and 2 more storms coming up.
Today, the U.S. Attorney General said the FBI stopped more than 500 illegal firearm sales to people under 21 since Congress approved enhanced background checks. The enhanced checks require the FBI to reach out to state and local officials, providing more detailed information about the firearm purchaser. AG Merrick Garland says homicides fell 6% nationally between 2021 and 2022, but says there's still work to do.
Crime is not just a threat to people's physical safety, to their ability to freely go about their daily lives. Violent crime isolates people and communities.
Today, House Republicans said they plan to move forward with holding Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress. 2 committees could vote as early as next week. Last month, the president's son defied a congressional subpoena to appear for a deposition behind closed doors. Biden insisted he would only testify in public. Republicans are looking to tie President Joe Biden to his dealings. 3 more student loan servicers face a huge pay cut for failing to send payments to more than 700,000 borrowers. Today, the Education Department said it would withhold payments from AidVantage, Ed Financial, and Nelnet for failing to meet contractual obligations. It's the latest error borrowers have faced since student loan repayments restarted in October. Secretary of State Antony Blinken returned to the Middle East to conflict in the region. He arrived in Turkey today as part of a multi-nation tour. The top U.S. diplomat is expected to make clear the U.S. does not want to see the war between Israel and Hamas escalate. This is Blinken's 4th trip to the region since October 7th.
Today, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released the December 2023 jobs report. It gave some clues about where employers and the overall economy are headed in the year ahead. Karen Kafa is in Washington to break down those numbers.
U.S. employers added 216,000 jobs to the economy during December 2023, according to the government's monthly jobs report released Friday.
The labor market continues to fire on all cylinders.
The Labor Department's final unemployment reading of 2023 came in at 3.7%.
Overall, it looks like a very solid picture for the labor market to underlie that continuous consumer spending that drives the U.S. economy.
Areas like government, healthcare, and construction saw growth in December. Transportation and losses. Looking ahead into 2024, Andy Challenger of outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas says industries where hiring spiked during the COVID-19 pandemic, like tech, will continue to shed jobs as the labor market cools.
As the economy and the world has moved into a post-COVID period, those industries that saw the biggest spikes are also the ones seeing the biggest cuts now.
And while overall labor growth eased amid the Federal Reserve's rate hike campaign to temper inflation, Challenger says job seekers should feel comfortable looking for new opportunities in 2024.
It is risky. This is a little bit more of a stable labor market that I think people can feel comfortable switching jobs.
The December jobs report pointing to a resilient job market in the face of the highest interest rates in 22 years. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
New research suggests labor disputes like strikes and walkouts are on the rise. Keep in mind, 2023 was a on the picket line. The Pew Research Center released a new analysis. It looked at work stoppages that involved at least 1,000 employees. The report found there were at least 30 major work stoppages in 2023. That's the highest total in more than 2 decades. More than 460,000 workers were involved in stoppages last year.
The first week of 2024 is coming to a close, but after a busy holiday season with so many distractions around us, it's tough to keep track of what day it is and anything that needs to.
What you start is a very big problem today.
Dr. Jan Yeager, a time management expert and author of over 50 books, including Work Less, Do More, says that staying productive at any time can be difficult, but the holidays add tasks that you don't have to worry about the rest of the year.
You have to deal with all these additional challenges, and they're joyful, but they also take a lot of time.
So with family and friends now back home, how can we start 2024 off strong?
It's a new year. Look at what deadlines are realistic. Forcing yourself to do what you have to do and take it to completion. That's a very important task.
And how can we get back into a rhythm for work?
Saying no can be one of the hardest things people have to learn to do. Whether you're a college student or someone working on a project, you don't want to wait till something's due to say, I need more time.
Dr. Yeager says to make sure that you don't forget to think about what you can do to improve your life by the end of 2024.
The important thing is that you get everything done. You may not get it done in the order that you thought you were going to do it in, but you're not putting something off forever. Think about January 25. What do you want to have accomplished over the next 12 months?
Hollywood loves a redemption story, and after a major public relations scandal over a lack of diversity, the Golden Globe Awards this weekend will celebrate the best in film and TV, while also trying to prove that it has changed its ways for the better. The Golden Globes will roll out the red carpet Sunday, handing out awards with matchups like Barbie versus Oppenheimer, John Wick versus Spider-Man. You know me. They're also trying to convince Hollywood it deserves a win for reinventing itself after years of scandal. In 2021, the LA Times reported the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which used to run the show, lacked a single black member. Actors and studios boycotted. The Foreign Press Group was eventually dissolved. Under new owners, the Globes promised to be better, expanding membership, promising more diversity, now claiming to be the most culturally diverse major awards body. The show also hired a new host.
It's me, Joe Coy.
Actor and comedian Joe Coy in Hollywood struggle with diversity.
Identifying being Filipino and Asian, and then you come to Hollywood and they have no idea what they're looking at.
A new study from the Inclusion Initiative at USC Annenberg says Hollywood still isn't doing enough to hire female directors and people of color. Of the top 100 grossing films in 2023, only 14 were directed by women. And critics point out the Golden Globe nominations this year feature mostly white actors and creators. The Golden Globes insist this year's nominations are more. The spotlight on the tarnished awards this Sunday, the Globes are hoping the statues shine a little brighter. Clayton Sandell, Scripps News.
This is the Beefmaster.
Fantastic. Yeah, just delicious. Grown beautifully.
Among his fans, Kendra Coling, also known as the farmer's wife. Kendra makes award-winning, melty, crunchy, intricately layered sandwiches.
We are in October, and we're getting some of the best tomatoes still. There's nothing like a late season tomato.
We caught up with Kendra at her shop in Point Reyes. Here she whipped up a telling us the centerpiece is not the bacon.
The bacon should take the backseat as a supporting character. Really, it's all about the seasonal tomato.
Kendra depends on locally sourced ingredients, and she's concerned about the warming planet.
Nothing's really predictable anymore these days. The weather, our crops, our livelihood.
As for Nick, he too is concerned, but he's determined to face any adversity head on.
We would hope for the best, but then we're going to have to go with the weather. What's that going to look like, I don't know.
As a farmer, Nick remains optimistic to transplant his first seedlings during the first weeks of April.
Well, up next, we already know that Brock Purdy won't play this Sunday. But what else can we expect from the Niners as they head to the Super Bowl, hopefully?
Your late night is getting a whole lot better for two reasons. Sarah and Stephen. The Late News with Sarah Donchie. Then The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Back with all new episodes. Really? These are two shows you'll want to spend the night with.
Then go to sleep knowing.
What? Record it, stream it, watch it live. The Late News and the all-new Late Show. Weeknights starting at 11 on KPIX.
You are in a new era. It's time to take off on your own and show the world what you can do. Independent and still powerful.
Fender.com or call 1-877-866-8555.
When I started college, so many people warned me about credit cards. They just seemed really scary. I realized that I needed to build credit, so I got the Chime Credit Builder card because I could safely build credit without being afraid of fees or interest. And there was no credit check. My score went up over 60 points, and I bought my first car. As a busy college student, having a car is an absolute must. I feel like I could do anything. My next goal, a 700 credit score. Join me at Chime.com.
Lulu, over $100 for leggings. I'm moving on to Fabletics. In Fabletics, we got this. Fabletics is the feel-good legging. The perfect little boost at the feel-good price. Get 2 leggings for just $24 at Fabletics.com.
We have 1,440 minutes in a day. It takes just one to change your health. Seeds DSO1 Daily Synbiotic is the 2-in-1 prebiotic and probiotic designed for benefits in and beyond the gut. Just 2 capsules a day. Formulated to support a healthy digestive, skin, heart, and immune system, giving you whole body health in a heartbeat. Get started today with Seeds DSO1 Daily Synbiotic. Go to seed.com to order now.
Super Bowl 58 streams live on Paramount Plus, and we've got 58 tickets to the big game that you could win. What? Just keep your eye peeled for special QR codes before your favorite shows and movies.
Hide and peek on Paramount Plus.
Mom and Daddy gave me 2 gifts, love and music.
Nashville was calling me. Nashville didn't understand him.
Willie wrote his truth, but in a way he wrote mine.
I just...
Wi-Fi love is making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again.
Any song that Willie has written, he's lived it.
We're getting ready for the by the time we get into tomorrow, coming down directly from the north. This one's going to have some light rain. It's not a major rain out for us, but it will be rain on Saturday nonetheless. It's coming through the North Bay by the time we get into the late morning hours, and it will have made it down to the Golden Gate by the time we get to around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Really not clearing the South Bay until we get into really the hour or so after sunset. we'll only get about 1/10 of an inch of rain or so out of this, but it is rain on a Saturday.
Well, the A's don't want to play at the Coliseum anymore. They don't want anyone else to play there either. They blocked the new minor league Oakland Ballers from hosting a summer game there during their inaugural season. It came as a shock to the Bees, who'd already made a down payment and invited little leaguers and fan groups to the game.
The idea was, what better place than this historic mid-century ballpark that we all have so many incredible memories of watching baseball at, to sort of reclaim it, so to speak, for a new chapter.
The A's are staying at the entire 2024 season, have exclusive rights over any pro ball played there. And in case you're wondering, no, they don't need the stadium on June 29th when the Bees wanted to play. They're on the road that weekend. Now, for their part, A's management says they're, quote, happy to work on the other ways to celebrate and promote professional baseball in Oakland. Since the 49ers have already locked up the top seed, Purdy will sit out this Sunday against the Rams. But as Matt Lively explains, the Niners feel pretty good about their chances with their backup quarterback.
This is the Volkswagen Red and Gold Report.
Rams-Niners games have always been intriguing in years past, but with both teams resting multiple starters on Sunday, this week doesn't pack its usual punch. We already know Brock Purdy won't play against the Rams, but it does opportunity for another Niners quarterback. Sam Darnold will get his first start as a 49er to end the regular season. It's going to be Darnold's first start since Week 18 of last season when he was with the Panthers. The Niners backup has limited reps since, but he did lead a fourth-quarter touchdown drive against the Ravens in relief of Purdy. Kyle Shanahan says this is good preparation for the playoffs, just in case something happens to QB1.
I want our team to treat this week as Brock going down on like the first play of the game. Ready for if that unfortunately did happen.
Obviously, I don't want to go in there. I want Brock to stay healthy and help this team win. But if I do need to go in there, I'll do my best. And whenever I can get reps, it's always helpful moving forward.
Him being a veteran in this league, playing against him, I mean, he has insane arm talent. Making sorts of throws out in the practice field that I haven't seen anybody make. He's a really talented quarterback. It's going to be good for him to go out there and get some burn.
I'm Matt Lively.
Well, Matt and Vern will have more Niners action for you tonight at 7:30 on the Red and Gold Report. That's on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. Coming up, if there's one thing that unites our Jefferson Award winners, it's how they give back to their community. A look back at all the amazing community heroes from 2023.
I would like to see the headlines that the national press picks up on and say, look, there's another side to the Bay Area.
We take those headlines a little step further to sort of connect all these, really embracing the positivity and hopefully spreading it.
The Bay Area is full of some amazing, innovative change makers.
People that are out there making a difference. In fact, I feel privileged that I get to share those stories.
Wake up with the Morning Edition, weekdays on KPIX.
Plain chicken. Again? Kiki Palmer? Listen, Fresh makes eating better exciting.
Smells good. Because it is good. How long were you in the fridge?
A long, long time.
Morning, Susan.
Kiki Palmer? Breakfast? HelloFresh has free breakfast for life.
How long have you been here?
Just focus on the breakfast.
Go to HelloFresh.com and get free breakfast for life with every box.
What if all I do for my type 2 diabetes isn't enough? Or what if?
Once weekly Mounjaro could help. Mounjaro helps your body regulate blood sugar and can help you eat less food. 3 out of 4 people reached an A1C of less than 7%. Plus, people lost up to 25 pounds. Mounjaro is not for people with type 1 diabetes or children. Don't take Mounjaro if you're allergic to it. You or your family have medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop Mounjaro and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction. severe stomach pain, vision changes, or diabetic retinopathy. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis and gallbladder problems. Taking Mounjaro with sulfonylurea or insulin raises low blood sugar risk. Tell your doctor if you're nursing, pregnant, or plan to be. Side effects include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, which can cause dehydration and may worsen kidney problems.
I can do diabetes differently with Mounjaro.
Ask your doctor about once-weekly Mounjaro.
About time. We showed up. Let's show out.
3, 2, 1.
Get low, then pick up. Get your hands in the air. It's a stick up. Shake your tambourines, move it quicker. Yeah, I'm shaking down the town. It's a picture.
I got you, baby.
Moving on the floor, gotta love that. How she keep it going on, gotta love that. To the beat like a pro, know you love that. Shake it to the flow.
Gotta love that.
As kids, they told us to follow our dreams.
I want to make.
But the minute we started chasing them, they told us we were being unrealistic. Told us to think about our future. Said it was too late for us. And passions don't pay bills. But what they didn't know is that dreamers make their own victory.
Okay, we're looking at clearing skies out there today, and as we get into the later hours of the afternoon, it'll be more blue sky than anything else. And when you look at daytime highs, some of these are coming into the low 60s. Not terribly breezy. It's a pretty good day. Make the most of this one, because starting tomorrow, things are going to start changing for us in a number of ways. It's going to get cooler, it's going to get windier, and it's going to get rainier. Let's of this first system, which is brewing in the Gulf of Alaska, and it's coming down from much norther climes than the storms that we've had so far this season. This thing's coming straight down from the north, which means it's going to be colder. We'll get to that part of it in 1 second. Let's talk about the rain first. That gets here tomorrow morning at 9, and from 9 o'clock going all the way through the day, we're going to have an organized line of rain marching across the bay. So plan on some rain tomorrow. I'll be back with much more on this in the complete forecast coming up in just a bit.
We are starting of sharing the stories of Jefferson Award winners and their community service. Sharon Chin gives us a look back at the people who have made a positive change in their communities.
No horsing around. Our 2023 winners.
This is where we started, right here.
Transform gang-infested neighborhoods.
Who needs extra bags?
Clean up city streets.
All right, on top, a little bit off to the right.
And plant trees for the environment.
Nice, so much better.
They kick up donations to and bring emotional support for impacted families. They combat workplace bullying and neighborhood racial profiling.
One, two.
Our community heroes help push back the progress of Parkinson's and fight drug addiction. They rescue dogs here at home and overseas, and use horses for therapy.
A lot of you guys like to read.
Several Jefferson Award winners focus on literacy through storytime assemblies and tutoring that teams up family and school.
Nice. There you go.
Sports, some winners teach children discipline and confidence. And several leaders introduce the arts by teaching music, offering art lessons, creating community murals, sharing ethnically diverse films,
We are all glad.
and promoting the Bay Area as a filmmaking destination.
Do you want anything else? Whose face are you washing?
2 women share their passion teaching language. And 2 longtime married couples.
Good morning. Would you care for some apples today?
Show us service through teamwork.
Can we blow a little, make a little music?
Along with father and son rabbis, a number of people serve the unsheltered on the streets and in encampments.
These are comfort kits.
With basic necessities, food bank groceries, housing opportunities,
Yeah. Thank you. All right.
training to start a new chapter.
You gotta put your leg right there.
Some winners go to great heights to give young people hope, make them feel valued, and equip them with life skills.
Yes. Has the fellowship started yet?
Our Jefferson Award winners show us the power of innovation
So let's just try this one section here.
Creativity.
Well said, Hermione.
We did it. This is year what? 3, 4?
And joy in giving of themselves.
And you can nominate your local hero for a Jefferson Award online at kpix.com/. The Golden Globe Awards will be handed out this Sunday, and 2023's box office blockbusters Barbie and Oppenheimer lead the film nominations. The show will be hosted by stand-up comedian and actor Joe Coy. And the 81st Golden Globes airs Sunday at 5 p.m. on KPIX, and of course streams on Paramount+. Now for a look at some of today's most talked about stories. The king of rock and roll is making a comeback nearly 50 years after Presley will hit the stage in November with the help of artificial intelligence. It's billed as an Elvis evolution using AI and holographic projections of the star's iconic songs and moves created from thousands of personal photos, home videos, and some of his greatest performances. When NASA's next mission to the moon blasts off later on this year, you can join the ride, or at least your name can. You just have to register it on NASA's website before March 15th. The names will travel on board NASA's robotic lunar rover named Viper. It'll be heading to the moon's south pole to look for water. Tetris came out in 1984, and no one has ever beaten the game until now. Willis Gibson, a 13-year-old from Oklahoma, reached the game's kill screen. Basically, when he got to level 157, the game crashed because it wasn't designed to go that high. Gibson finished third in the 2023 Classic Tetris World Championship. Good for him. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Elizabeth Cook. KPI next.
Fact: Emily hasn't bought groceries in weeks. So how is she creating this masterpiece? Her freezer is stocked with Daily Harvest. That's how. Chef-crafted food, organic ingredients, delivered to your door, ready in minutes. See for yourself at dailyharvest.com. Go to dailyharvest.com and get started today.
Hair has always been pretty central to my identity.
Once I started taking Nutrafol, I could visibly see my hair get thicker.
It made my hair stronger, and the breakage is less.
At Nutrafol, we want to empower women to have the best hair they can have. Nutrafol is 100% drug-free. And the
They are up for Carbon and Monroe County. The shades of purple here, it's a notch under that. It's a winter weather advisory, and we have them up at this point until Sunday. This goes into effect, obviously, tomorrow. Lancaster, Berks, Lehigh, Northampton, and Upper Bucks County, where we could see, 2 to 4 inches of snow, and this maybe a touch more. That's where we have the winter weather alerts, but this thing goes all the way down to parts of Georgia. I mean, nearly 1,000 miles worth of winter weather alerts. And when you look at the map right now, up and down the eastern seaboard, it's pretty quiet out ahead of our next weather maker, which is this system right here that will be here for tomorrow. So let's talk about that timing that you mentioned. If you wanted to get something done, you want to get out early tomorrow morning. If you're taking the kids somewhere, you got to go to the store real quick. I mean, obviously tonight's great. It's cold, but there's no problems for you at all. But once we hit about noon, that's the time, give or take a little bit, that I'm going to tell you that's when the impacts start. So noon to 3. Straight to moderate impact. It starts as snow. Even in Philadelphia, we likely have snow for at least a couple of hours before it transitions over to rain. But when we talk about the 3 p.m. through 11 p.m. time frame tomorrow afternoon and evening, that is the highest impact, whether it's snow, whether it's rain, wind, that's when it's the highest during that time. Then 11 p.m. through 6 a.m. Sunday, things start to taper off, back to low impact. And then on Sunday, little to no impact, certainly out of the sky. Where we will still potentially have impacts are the areas that you see that snow up into the, Poconos or whatnot, side roads. You're going to get a lot of snow, so that will be, some cleanup during the day. So we'll break it down for you hour by hour in our future cast, talk about our next weather maker as well. It's a very, very active pattern, guys. Back over to you.
And Bill, it's that time of year when houses need to be prepped for the changing conditions. New Jersey reporter Ryan Hughes went to Cherry Hill, and he found some helpful information ahead of back-to-back storm systems.
When we get heavy rain, that's when you see leaks.
Greg Dobkin is preparing for another busy weekend.
We got inundated with all that weather over the course of the and our phones have been ringing off of the hook.
Dobkin is the managing partner at American Construction in Cherry Hill. He says his team's main job lately has been repairing leaky roofs. And with more rain expected in South Jersey on Saturday and next week, he's encouraging homeowners to be proactive.
A lot of times we find if somebody waits a little bit too long.
Water was dripping out of a light.
Jeff Nilsson has owned his home for 3 years, but he moved here full-time from Florida about 6 months ago. A few weeks back, he says water into his living room,
which we had someone come out and repair badly. And then it rained some more. And then we had a bigger leak.
Nilsson then turned to American Construction. The company put its drone in the air Friday over Nilsson's newly replaced roof. But Dobkin says routine maintenance can oftentimes help you avoid a costly repair.
Having the roof inspected, sweeping debris off of the roof, I think pretty often clogged gutters can create a lot of pretty significant issues with roofing.
And another tip, roofers say if you can, to go into your attic and take a look around. If you see a watermark, that likely means you have a leak. Dobkin says identifying the problem early can help prevent further damage and in the end, save you some money.
To start planning earlier, start planning as soon as you start to see issues, because we find that with our clients, the ones that are proactive and really just trying to get ahead of it and take care of these issues before they turn into major problems, the whole experience.
In Cherry Hill, Ryan Hughes, CBS News, Philadelphia.
And the next weather team will be here all weekend to help you get through whatever comes our way. When we're not on television, you can always find the updated next weather forecast at cbsphiladelphia.com/weather.
The measles outbreak in Philadelphia is growing. There are now 5 confirmed cases and 3 probable cases.
Time for an update from the health commissioner. Stephanie Stahl has it.
Lots going on with this, guys. Dr. Bedegal, that 3 children are still hospitalized. She says people need to get vaccinated and not ignore directives from health officials, which is how this outbreak started. The Philadelphia Health Department says parents of an infected child and this daycare center violated quarantine orders, triggering an outbreak of measles.
This is a major event. The fact that Philadelphia is seeing 8 cases, we could see more before this is over, really very, very concerning.
The Multicultural Education Station Daycare Center in Oxford Circle read in part, several children have shown symptoms. No one at the daycare would answer our questions.
If someone with measles goes into a public space during their contagious period, they can really infect a lot of people.
At that daycare center, how many more infections do we have now?
So we have 2 confirmed infections and 3 probable infections at that daycare center.
Center had been hospitalized at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, among 3 who recently had measles. The first case here in December was a baby too young to be vaccinated who traveled internationally. Before being diagnosed, the virus had spread to babies in adjacent rooms.
It wasn't until a few days into the hospitalization that it was realized that the child had measles. That enabled the exposure of several children. Early measles before the rash can look like any other respiratory infection.
The health department says the infections are among both vaccinated and those under age 1 too young for the vaccine. They travel to a variety of locations, including St. Christopher's Hospital, Jefferson Health, and Nazareth Hospital. Officials are now tracking additional potential exposures at several locations. Only people who are not vaccinated are at risk.
This is not just any other childhood virus, cold, flu, cough, etc. This is a very serious, potentially life-threatening virus.
Now, the MMR vaccine covers measles, mumps, and rubella. It is available at doctors' offices and drugstores for people who. There are government programs that cover the cost. Also, Philadelphia Health Department is giving out free shots.
Free shot, okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right, Stephanie, thank you for that.
Well, more hospitals and doctors' offices are forcing you to mask up as COVID, flu, and RSV cases continue to climb. The University of Pennsylvania Health System is the latest spot to bring back a mask mandate. That goes into effect on Monday. Masks are already required at all Cooper University Healthcare and Mainline Health.
President Biden is marking 3 years since the January 6th Capitol attack. He was at Montgomery County Community College this afternoon with his first campaign appearance in 2024. The president referenced nearby Valley Forge to hammer home his message for the upcoming presidential election, framing it as a battle for democracy. He also wasted little time going after his expected 2024 rival, former President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's campaign is about him, not America. Not you. Donald Trump's campaign is with the past, not the future. He's willing to sacrifice our democracy, put himself in power.
On the Republican side, the 6 presidential candidates are busy campaigning for votes in Iowa and New Hampshire. Polls show former President Trump currently with a big lead over the others. The presidential primary season officially starts January 15th with the Iowa caucus.
Well, pay attention or pay the price.
Up next, see the costly mistake a driver made when they ignored some important warnings.
Plus, a change in plans. The won't have to pay for paper bags at the grocery store. Also this.
Various departments are welcoming in a class of K-9 graduates. I'm Marcela Bayeto with a look at some of our newest law enforcement members in our area.
And it's going to be a rather dicey weekend as the storm systems head our way. Bill will let you know when it will all clear out, and he'll do that after a short break.
Oh, not now.
Yeah, dude, that doesn't look good. What's that?
I'm going to CashNetUSA.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, I can have the money as soon as the same business day.
Oh, nice save.
Oh, saving the day is easy. With CashNet USA.
When you need money fast, be the hero. Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need now.
We're excited to do business with you, but before we sign, I gotta ask.
Sure, anything.
We searched you online, and maybe you can explain this?
Can't believe that garbage is still coming in. That is so false.
Frustrated with your online search results? Call Reputation Defender today to join tens of thousands who've improved their online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 1-877-866-8555.
Hey, George.
Now what?
Tell me again about humans.
Humans are noisy. They like to make things. They're fueled by inspiration. Inspiration and something called tacos. Change makes them nervous, but embracing it takes their skills to a whole new level.
Wow. I wish we could work with them.
Well, actually, we are. Fiverr, powered by freelance talent.
Hair shedding? That's parenthood for you.
My job got bigger. My hair got thinner.
Aging? I see it in my hair. Support visibly thicker hair through life's changes with Nutrafol, the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand. Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com.
NFL is on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
You're about to play with masters.
Up the middle. Another edition of 60 Minutes. Heart, hustle, home. CBS News, Philadelphia.
And we continue to keep an eye on the conditions that are going to make things a mess around the region this weekend. The ski resorts in the Poconos are about to get some much-needed snow. Bill's going to have the updated next weather forecast coming up in about 3 minutes.
A driver in Bucks County learned an important lesson about paying attention behind the wheel. Check out the mess that the driver ended up in yesterday on Mearns Road in Warwick Township. Ignored 2 road closed signs, PennDOT trucks, excavators, and a work crew before driving right into the ditch. The road is ripped apart for a pipe replacement project. Fortunately, no one was hurt. A new plan to charge shoppers for paper bags in Philadelphia has been bagged for now. City Council passed a bill last month that would have charged shoppers 15 cents for every paper bag they use. But former Mayor Jim Kenney killed the bill when he refused for council's last session of the year. We'll have to wait and see if council tries to pass the paper bag fee again when they meet later this month.
Well, a second K-9 officer is joining Temple University's police department. CBS Philadelphia's Marcella Bayeto has your introduction tonight.
Before walking onto the stage to accept their certification in front of family and colleagues, 2-year-old German Shepherd Falco jumped at the chance to remind his partner that Friday's graduation called for a celebration.
It's honestly like the best partner. He doesn't hesitate.
Falco and Temple Police Campanelli were among the 11 dogs and handlers from different jurisdictions graduating from the Philadelphia Police Academy after 4 months of rigorous training.
Oh boy! We were crawling and jumping with our dogs, and it was just amazing to actually be a part of the training with the dogs.
The duo will be part of Temple University's K-9 unit, where they'll patrol campuses and help with crowd control measures during events.
Yes.
Falco will also be putting his sniffing skills to good work while on the job.
I'm certified in 27 different types of explosives. So, and I think that's a key part, especially with a campus as large as Temple. You know, anything could happen.
Jennifer Griffin, Temple's vice president for public safety, says the new addition won't just increase safety on campus.
We also help, with different events citywide when they need additional canines. So this just isn't a Temple resource, it's for the entire city.
As for Falco, their bond goes well beyond the force.
Once I take him home, I take his collars off. He's got his own spot on the love seat.
Falco and Officer Campanelli aren't waiting too long to start work. Their first day will be Saturday at Temple. At the Philadelphia Police Training Center, Marcella Bayeto, CBS News, Philadelphia.
We are all keeping a close eye on what's coming this weekend and the impact that it's going to have on our area.
All right, break it down, sir.
And that's what it is. It comes down to impact, right? How are you and you all going to be affected by? It's going to be an impactful storm. Let me show you what's going on right now, because there are things that you can do now. It is quiet. We do not have the storm out there. If you're heading out this evening, no weather-related problems. It's just a little cold. You got 32 right now already in Westchester at the freezing mark. I mean, you add a little breeze to that, we're easily down into the 20s. So it's a very chilly night, but notice the icons. Nice clear skies out there. So what can you do now? What can you do tonight and early tomorrow morning? Well, first thing, you can clean out the gutters. That's probably not right now as dark. But tomorrow morning, if you haven't yet, we're expecting rain. We're expecting snow. You want to clean around your yard. Ready? It's a good day to spend some time inside planning those activities. You want to prepare if you're in an area that's going to get snow, Lehigh Valley, parts of Berks County, up and certainly in the Poconos. You want to have your salt, your shovels, your blowers getting ready to actually be used for the first time this season. Get your winter gear out. I know at our house we had to go dig and say, okay, it's been a little while. Let's go see for the kids and this and that. So get that all out. And then, of course, load the CBS Philadelphia app. And I tell you that not just for self-promotion here, but we have a very extensive dates during the entire storm. And not just here in Philadelphia, we're using our resources around the entire Northeast, and we're going to be having updates constantly. We'll do some of those on air, but they're going to be on our streaming service all day tomorrow and then into Sunday as well. So if you haven't, it's free. CBS Philadelphia, load that up. We have a fabulous streaming app. I encourage you to do that. You can also load it on your TV too if you have those smart TVs. That's what I have at my house. All right, so here's what it looks like outside now. We have a few clouds that are starting to increase. significant weather impacts at all. So we'll leave it on the regional view. Let me walk you through the updated futurecast here. So tonight we are dry. It is a cold night. That's what our forecast is, dry and chilly. Here is what it looks like at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I mentioned early tomorrow. You can see that it's cloudy, but at this point, we don't have any rain or snow in our area. That will quickly change by the time we get to noon. If you have travel plans down 95 tomorrow morning, notice by 10 o'clock in the morning, we're getting that mix in D.C., Baltimore, areas farther south. So that's where you're going to encounter the impactful travel. For our area, we're going to say around noon. Here's a closer look. The blue is the snow, the green is the rain. You folks down the shore, you're pretty much rain all day long. But Philadelphia, up and down 95, Wilmington, back over to Chester and Lancaster County, we're going to start at snow, and it will probably snow for a couple of hours. And that's going to be enough that we get a little bit on the ground. I mean, it's not going to stick right away, but we will get some accumulations there before it transitions over to rain. And that's what you're seeing here, green. All South Jersey essentially rain for the duration of this event. But watch as we get into the afternoon. Here's a look at 4 o'clock. Snowing through the Lehigh Valley, snowing for the Poconos, raining up and down I-95 at this point, late tomorrow afternoon and into the early evening. By tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, the only place really that I expect it to be snowing is the Poconos and maybe upper parts of Lehigh County. That even there, you guys transition to a little bit of rain before this system winds down late tomorrow night. By the time most of you go to bed, say midnight, this system's going to kick on out of here. Sunday, just a few lingering flurries. Sunday is not a wet. How much snow can you expect? We're still going less than an inch up and down I-95, a little slushy mix here and there. Wouldn't be surprised some of the western parts here pick up a half an inch of snow. Possibly an inch on the high end, but that's about it. Then we quickly go to 1 to 3 in this shade of blue. So Reading, Lancaster, you guys are probably 1 to 3. We get up into the Lehigh Valley. We're looking more 3 to 5 with 5 to 10 up around the Poconos. But I don't want you so hung up on, oh, yeah, I don't get much snow. Hey, it's an easy day. We got a lot of rain coming down in addition to the wind that's going to be gusting. So it's a raw day. Down the shore, we're talking 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, and that's pretty much the trend around our entire area. Start out in the 20s, snowing by noon, 2 o'clock, and then it turns to rain, and it's a raw, cold rain with a high temperature of just, mid to upper 30s. Our next weather alert, guys, is Tuesday. That one, the big concern is going to be flooding with more rain and, of course, all the melting snow that we get. There you go. We'll keep you updated. Back over to you.
Thank you, sir. One more game, then the real season begins for the Birds.
PG here to get us straight.
Playoffs right around the corner. Let's do it. The Eagles finish out the regular season on Sunday, but they'll be missing 2 key players, one on offense. Should more vets sit? We'll talk about it next.
You can't buy great conversations or moments that matter, but you can invest in them. At T. Rowe Price, our strategic investing approach can help you build the future you imagine. T. Rowe Price, invest with confidence.
I seriously hate bank fees, especially overdraft fees. That's why I love Chime. I don't get any monthly fees. One of my favorite features is Spot Me. I can overdraft up to $200 fee-free. With my business, one of the missions is to empower women. Banking with the Chime app empowers me to be in control of my money. I love Chime. Join me today and sign up at chime.com.
Lulu, over $100 for leggings. I'm moving on to Fabletics. In Fabletics, we got this. Fabletics is the feel better legging, the feel good legging, the perfect little boot price. Get 2 leggings for just $24 at Fabletics.com.
When my hair started to thin, I thought, am I going to have any hair left?
After I gave birth, my hair wasn't even thinning, it was gone.
As I got older, I couldn't grow it past my shoulders.
Nutrafol has different formulas for all the different changes so many women go through.
Within 3 months, my hair is significantly fuller.
It's longer, it's thicker.
My friends noticed it. I felt like a completely different person.
Try the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand.
See? A woman sitting on the couch building her credit just by paying.
I forgot you were here.
That's the point. With Self, you get credit for the bills you're going to pay anyways, like your rent, cell phone, and utilities. Set yourself up with Self, then just sit back and watch your credit grow. Build your credit. Build credit, build savings, build dreams.
I'm so boned. I forgot to get my girl tickets for the show tomorrow. Now it's sold out.
It's her freaking birthday. Oh, dude. She's probably gonna break up with you. She's definitely gonna break up with me.
Should've used TickPick.
Wait, what'd you say?
TickPick. Look.
Oh, whoa, dude.
What? There are no hidden fees. What you guys think I said?
Oh, TickPick. I thought you said.
You heard right. TickPick, the no-fee ticket site.
Aroma 360's in 6 different colors, so you can set the tone of every room.
Wow, look at that spread.
Uga, these are portable scent diffusers, not a meal.
I love anything that creates an experience, Romy.
Like red for a romantic evening, or a soothing blue to...
The purple gives me luxury, but I love green for a sunny space.
So, Food God, what's your color?
Whoa, that smells insane. But wait, how'd you get here with that?
It's Wired.
Tonight in South Philly, Joel Embiid will look to keep his incredible streak alive. He goes for 30 points, 10 rebounds for the 15th straight game against the Knicks. He would join Wilt and Kareem as the only other players to do that ever. Here's head coach Nick Nurse on what he's learned about his star center.
He's better than I.
They're just talking about the specials.
I think you're hearing things. Injured? Call the Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444, just in case.
You budget. You pay bills.
Yet somehow women like you, like me,
are 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
What we're going to do now, we're going to save ourselves by setting a goal to save 2% more of our income for our retirement.
Why 2?
1% honors you, and 1% honors all womankind.
So come on, learn more about the 2% challenge at WeSaySaveIt.org.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. Really just all about.
From the Foundation for a Better Life.
It's time.
Let's start, Chelsea.
Oh, terrific.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you head to the mailbox in the new year to send off a letter or a bill, be warned, prices are going up. First-class mail stamps are increasing from 66 to 68 cents starting January 21st. Postcards will cost you $2 domestically. International letters, meanwhile, will increase from $1.50 to $1.55. Also, package shipping costs are expected to increase in the new year. The Postal Service is also asking permission to raise prices on sending certified mail, on P.O. box rentals, insuring packages, and on money orders. It blames all of these price increases on inflation and increased operating costs. It reported $6.5 billion in net losses in 2023 alone. But if you have a bunch of those forever stamps lying around, they are still good even with the price increases, hence the name.
The average American is starting to feel more optimistic about the future of their finances. Compared to this time last year, WalletHub reports consumers are 15% more confident, feeling a higher sense of job security, and even considering making a large purchase in 2024. It's a move that could bring the price of some drugs down. The Food and Drug Administration will allow Florida to import medicine from Canada. Florida save $150 million in the first year of the program. 8 other states are working to set up similar programs. Eli Lilly is launching a home delivery service. Lilly Direct will allow obesity, migraine, and diabetes drugs to be delivered directly to patients' homes through third-party dispensing services. Google is shutting down cookies for 30 million Chrome users, with plans to disable the tracking device completely by the end of the year. Cookies are the primary way companies track your behavior online and result in the targeted ads you see when browsing websites. This change will radically the $600 billion online ad industry operates.
This one is for Verizon customers. You could receive $100 thanks to the settlement of a class action lawsuit. Now, the lawsuit alleges Verizon was charging customers undisclosed administration fees in a, quote, deceptive and unfair manner. Verizon has denied any wrongdoing, but has agreed to pay $100 million to settle the lawsuit. Current and former customers who were charged administrative fees between January 1st of 2016 and November 8th of last year are eligible to receive up to $100. Those who are eligible will email or will receive a letter in the mail, and you must file a claim by April 15th in order to receive payment.
We're wrapping up the first work week of the new year, but are you still feeling like you don't know what day it is or what you need to accomplish? You're going to hear from an expert who can help you stay productive in the new year.
There is a long list of benefits associated with artificial intelligence, but we can't deny the potential harm. How some are using AI to generate inappropriate images of children, and what parents can do to protect their kids.
A local nonprofit hosting a special pep rally to surprise students today. Coming up, how the organization is recognizing those students' hard work. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Oh, give me a win where the verdict is in and our clients are smiling all day.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
In an emergency, doctors may face impossible choices. Who gets a life-saving blood transfusion and who must wait? Because of you, life doesn't stop. Donate blood. Make your appointment today at Vitalant.org.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Today, the U.S. Attorney General said the FBI stopped more than 500 illegal firearm sales to people under 21 since Congress approved enhanced background checks. The enhanced checks require the FBI to reach out to state and local officials, providing more detailed information about the firearm purchaser. AG Merrick Garland says homicides fell 6% nationally between 2021 and 2022, but says there's still work to do.
Crime is not just a threat to people. It is a threat to their ability to freely go about their daily lives. Violent crime isolates people and communities.
Today, House Republicans said they plan to move forward with holding Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress. 2 committees could vote as early as next week. Last month, the president's son defied a congressional subpoena to appear for a deposition behind closed doors. Biden insisted he would only testify in public. Republicans are looking to tie President Joe Biden to his son's business dealings. 3 more student loan servicers face a huge pay cut for failing to send time more than 700,000 borrowers. Today, the Education Department said it would withhold payments from Aidvantage, Ed Financial, and Nelnet for failing to meet contractual obligations. It's the latest error borrowers have faced since student loan repayments restarted in October. Secretary of State Antony Blinken returned to the Middle East to deter a wider conflict in the region. He arrived in Turkey today as part of a multi-nation tour. The top U.S. diplomat is expected to make clear the U.S. the war between Israel and Hamas escalate. This is Blinken's 4th trip to the region since October 7th.
Students at Cram Middle School got a special surprise Friday morning for their hard work and dedication.
Oh, these are so cute.
Thanks to the nonprofit organization Clothing Clark County, nearly 80 students at Cram Middle School in North Las Vegas were gifted brand new shoes as a reward for improving their academic scores in math and English. London Crockett was among the hardworking students.
So to get working hard is something like I'm really grateful for.
May Kane, founder and CEO of Clothing Clark County, says that the shoes were well deserved by the children.
It's exciting because to see that the scores did improve, and from what I heard from the principals, that's 15%, which is usually for the school year, it's 10% of their goals. So it really worked, and I think the school is seeing the results. We're seeing results, which is what we would like to see continue as well.
For more information on this initiative, you can visit Clothing.org. Reporting from North Las Vegas, I'm Shakira Hawkins.
Happy Friday. Temperatures are in the upper 50s this afternoon after some morning high clouds. Been nothing but sunshine out there. Only complaint is the breezes are building back in from the north. Not as strong as yesterday, but 10, 15 mile per hour northerly and northwesterly breezes. So obviously you want to have that coat for your Friday evening plans. We're down in the mid 40s by 10 p.m. and wowzers, with a clear sky and I think very late tonight, less of a breeze, it will bottom out in the low and the mid 30s. If you're up early enough, 6, 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. Now, Saturday afternoon, it's also going to be chillier, highs dropping and only getting to the low 50s on Saturday afternoon. The reason, we've got some clouds that'll thicken back up as Saturday afternoon wears on. Check this out. We'll talk more about our chance of a few showers, rain and snow showers possible early Sunday morning. Full forecast coming at you in just a bit.
When it comes to the job market, the U.S. had a relatively strong end to the year. In December, employers added about 216,000 jobs. report also shows unemployment was unchanged at 3.7%.
Jobs creation in 2023 was certainly respectable, but well below the pace of the previous year, and the previous year's pace was certainly unsustainable.
Not to take shine off these new figures, but Bankrate's Mark Hamrick also points out that new totals from October and November show fewer jobs were added, with a decline of about 71,000.
The first week of 2024 is coming to a close, but after a busy holiday season with so many distractions, it's tough to keep track of what day it is and anything that needs to get done.
Finishing what you start is a very big problem today.
Dr. Jan Yeager, a time management expert and author of over 50 books, including Work Less, Do More, says that staying productive at any time can be difficult, but the holidays add tasks that you don't have to worry about the rest of the year.
You have to deal with all these additional challenges, and you know they're joyful, but they also take a lot of time.
So friends now back home, how can we start 2024 off strong?
It's a new year. Look at your commitments. What deadlines are realistic? Forcing yourself to do what you have to do and take it to completion. That's a very important task.
And how can we get back into a rhythm for work?
Saying no can be one of the hardest things people have to learn to do. Whether you're a college student or someone working on a project, you don't want to wait till the day things due to say, I need more time.
Dr. Yeager says to make sure that you don't forget to think about what you can do to improve your life by the end of 2024.
The important thing is that you get everything done. You may not get it done in the order that you thought you were going to do it in, but you're not putting something off forever. You know, think about January 1st, 2025. What do you want to have accomplished over the next 12 months?
First win of 2024 couldn't come against the team that they beat in their biggest win of 2023, as VGK falls to the Florida Panthers 4-1 in this Stanley Cup final rematch. VGK was shut out in the Winter Classic, so surely we see the first Knights goal of 2024, right? Early in the first, Pavel Dorofeev says, you bet. Golden Knights up 1-0, but the Panthers prowl on a power play. Matt Bennett scores the knot this up at 1 apiece. Fast forward to the second, a 5-on-3 Knights, but Vegas can't manage to find the net. Shortly later in that period, the tables are turned after Zach Whitecloud is slapped with a pair of penalties at once, and Matthew Tkachuk takes advantage. Panthers pounce on top 2-1 and extend that lead later in the second. Carter Verhaeghe sends it home. A Vegas rally won't be in the cards in the third. Sam Reinhart scores, and Florida's third power play goal of the game puts this one out of reach. Knights go on to lose 4-1, going 0 of 6 on power play opportunities. Why?
The game completely changes. They go 5-on-3 for a minute and a half, and they go 3 for 6. We go 0 for 6, and our power play really didn't get us any momentum. So we got to the top of the mountaintop last year, and we know what that's like being on the other side of it, right? You play the defending champions. You want to bring your best game, so you got to expect that. But right now, like I said, simplify the game. Everybody's got to play better. 20 guys got to play better.
It's on us as players to be better, especially at home here in front of our crowd. And you know, we had a good first, but you know, it's all part. So we got to dig deep here and reset.
So VGK is still left looking for answers. And just like it is on the Vegas Strip, the show must go on. 6 of their next 7 games is right here at the Fortress. On deck is the New York Islanders, Saturday night at 7. From T-Mobile Arena, it's Nick Walters.
The Golden Globes reimagined. That's what the show leaders have in mind for the new year. Scripps News' Clayton Sandell has the details.
Hollywood loves a redemption story, and scandal over a lack of diversity, the Golden Globe Awards this weekend will celebrate the best in film and TV, while also trying to prove that it has changed its ways for the better. The Golden Globes will roll out the red carpet Sunday, handing out awards with matchups like Barbie versus Oppenheimer, John Wick versus Spider-Man. You me? But the Golden Globes are also trying to convince Hollywood it deserves a win for reinventing itself after years of scandal. In 2021, the LA Times reported the Hollywood Association, which used to run the show, lacked a single black member. Actors and studios boycotted. The foreign press group was eventually dissolved. Under new owners, the Globes promised to be better, expanding membership, promising more diversity, now claiming to be the most culturally diverse major awards body. The show also hired a new host.
It's me, Joe Coy.
Actor and comedian Joe Coy says he's seen Hollywood struggle with diversity.
Identifying being Filipino. And then you come to Hollywood and they have no idea what they're looking at.
A new study from the Inclusion Initiative at USC Annenberg says Hollywood still isn't doing enough to hire female directors and people of color. Of the top 100 grossing films in 2023, only 14 were directed by women. And critics point out the Golden Globe nominations this year feature mostly white actors and creators. The Golden Globes insist this year's nominations are more diverse, but with the spotlight awards this Sunday, the Globes are hoping the statues shine a little brighter. Clayton Sandell, Scripps News.
Cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that phone. You got this.
Thank you so much. Fostering a pet for a friend or neighbor can keep families together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by theforest.org.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Sarah, you've got this. Okay? But they lost.
Not really. Not where it counts.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. It's here. It's here. Wait. Why?
I can't drive.
Why?
My. Oh.
If alcohol builds a wall around you, know this. We are here to help. If you never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous. There is a way out.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Are you looking to make positive changes to your personal finances this year? Well, if you answered yes, you're not alone, as many Americans are looking to make the most of their money in 2024.
Financial resolutions are exceptionally important this year.
Cassie Happy is an analyst for Wallet Hub. She tells us almost half of Americans are planning a money resolution this year, though some are worried about sticking to their goals.
25% think that financial resolutions are the most challenging.
Still, most people expect to make the resolution last all year. At the top of the financial priority list, saving more and spending less.
Both of which kind of feed into just improving your debt and improving your credit score.
While most Americans feel cautiously optimistic about the economy and their money going into 2024, there are still worries.
Nearly 2 in 3 Americans are feeling anxious about the future of their finances.
High inflation and recession fears. But economists are hopeful that neither will be a major issue for Americans this year.
We've seen enough positive indicators that there's hope there too.
To make any financial goal come true, make sure to start small and budget for it. If your resolutions are realistic, you'll be more likely to stick to them. That way, you don't waste your money.
Happy Friday. If you were asleep this morning, we had a beautiful sunrise. And thank you very much to Carol Lynn, one of our great viewers who around 6:40 and snap these very, very pretty colors off the cirrus clouds. A lot of sunshine has been in place through the afternoon, and that has helped our temperatures climb to the upper 50s. We are not going to get back to the upper 50s this weekend or at any point in time next week, as we see it right now. Really a cold weather pattern, that is for sure. But there's your clear sky this Friday afternoon as we head on into Saturday morning. Still mostly sunny, but by Saturday, clouds have started to thicken up, and we've got a batch of some moisture coming on through very late Saturday night or very early Sunday morning, still subject to fine-tuning. But I think as we're in the vicinity of sunrise, maybe an hour or so before, possibly an hour or so after by the time it gets here, we've got a mix of rain and some snowflakes here across southern Nevada. This will be a quick-moving batch of moisture. So not going to cause too much of an impact. A couple of flakes fly, a few raindrops out there. That's cause for excitement. Although I anticipate, as we see the timing right now, a lot of us sleeping through that again early Sunday morning. What we're all going to notice and probably complain about in the wake of that cold front, the rest of Sunday, some strong north breezes gusting to 40 miles per hour. That is a lot of wind across the rest of our Sunday. Now, before then, a few 20-mile-per-hour breezes the rest of our Friday on into the evening. Saturday is calm during the day, but Saturday night, as that band late Saturday night, the wind will pick up. Again, the strongest wind on Sunday. And look at what that does to our temperatures. Low 50s Saturday, but we're likely not going to get out of the 40s on Sunday, coldest day we've seen so far this winter. Monday, much of the same with the high again in the upper 40s early next week. Fairly quiet, just a bit of a north breeze out there. Bundle up for your Friday evening plans as we drop off into the 40s by 9, 10 p.m. Lows tonight, very cold, down in the low in the mid-30s. Thicker clouds Saturday. That Sunday moisture is going to be very early in the day, and then it's windy the rest of the day. Still breezy Monday. We will wake up to temperatures near freezing every morning next week.
Between record-breaking heat and historic droughts, it's easy to feel overwhelmed about climate change. But each week we're highlighting some positive stories about people trying to make a difference and impact Earth. Let's start in Rogers, Minnesota, where a $30 million recycling facility is getting ready to ramp up. This recycling facility is unique because it focuses on plastic film, a whole lot like this cling wrap that you can find in most kitchens or grocery bags that you get from stores. Only about 5% of plastic like this is ever recycled, but about 15 billion pounds of it is used each year for shipping, shopping, and more. The MyPlast USA plant is hoping to serve as a national model to cut down on plastic waste. Across the students are getting a hands-on lesson in how they can help address climate change. For the past year, kids in K through 8th grade at the Wesley School have taken all of their leftover food waste from the cafeteria and put it into composting containers. In about a year, they managed to divert 5,200 pounds of food from the landfill. Students are then taught about how composting works, and they get to see the process with their own eyes. They also learn about the environment and how they can help. Teachers there say this program is empowering for the students and it helps them to feel less climate anxious. These are just a couple of the stories of people trying to impact Earth.
Oh, Max, you broke it. No, don't do that. Bad boy.
What we're made of, when we are called to help our friends and me. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there.
I'm a wife, a sister,
and a grandfather.
I'm an office clerk.
I'm a research analyst, dance fitness instructor.
Actor.
I'm a copywriter. I have lupus.
Cerebral palsy.
I'm blind.
And I'm working in a job I love.
Because I was given a chance
To contribute my skills and talents.
To show that my disability
is only one part of who I am.
Who I am.
who I am.
At work, it's what people can do that matters. For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Man, it's lonely. Going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Never stops.
Got a new house.
My name's Mark. I'm an alcoholic.
Dorothy T, and I am an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. My name is Victoria. My journey in AA started years ago when I reached the outside limits of my desperation.
And then these people, gathered around me. That was the fellowship in action.
If I carry any sort of message with my story, it's that, keep coming back and that this thing does work.
If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works.
As artificial intelligence becomes more available and easier to use, child safety advocates are pushing for more regulations to protect children. AI image generators work by essentially combing through a database of images that already exist and learning from them. According to a newly for University, one of the largest AI databases contains more than 3,000 images depicting child sexual abuse.
Children's images and videos can't be misused and abused online if they don't exist in the first place and if they're not easily accessible.
In a world of constant sharing on social media, child safety advocates at Bark, a leading parental control technology company, say the best way to keep your is safe is to be very selective with what you and your kids put on the internet.
Recently, there were Florida students accused of creating nude photos of classmates using AI. So there weren't actual photos of the minor that were captured and shared. They were created using that minor's likeness. So you have to talk to your kids about why they should never do that and how it can happen so easily, and how if that does happen, here's what you need to do to take it down.
You can access valuable parental control Bark.us, or you can go to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children website by scanning the QR code on your screen or going to missingkids.org.
Until this doll is back in a box.
There's no
Holding Back Barbie. The blockbuster took home 4 trophies from the Alliance of Women Film Journalists: Best Director, Original Screenplay, Supporting Actor for Ryan Gosling, and Ensemble Cast and Casting Director. Killers of the Flower Moon also won 4 awards, including 2 for Lily Gladstone, Best Actress and Best Women's Breakthrough.
Closed captioning for the Judge Mills Lane Show is brought to you by. Closed captions provided by. Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning for Yes Dear is sponsored in part by. This closed captioning sponsorship is brought to you by.
Closed captioning for Big Brother 3 is brought to you by.
This closed
This closed caption sponsorship brought to you by.
For the Shield has been provided by.
Closed captioning brought to you by. Closed captioning brought to you by.
Promotional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning brought to you by. Promotional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Promotional consideration provided by. Promotional consideration provided by the following. Closed captioning.
Promotional consideration for Design Invasion is brought to you in part by.
Closed captioning sponsored in part by.
Closed captioning sponsored by. Promotional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Promotional consideration provided by.
Promotional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Promotional consideration by.
Closed captioning sponsored by. Travel consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Travel consideration provided by. Closed captioning provided by. Travel consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning for Roger Ebert in the Movies is brought to you by.
Tonight's closed caption episode of NYPD Blue is brought to you by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning for The Good Dish provided by.
Closed captioning and other promotional consideration provided by.
Sponsorship brought to you by. Promotional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Promotional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning for My Wife and Kids is sponsored by.
Closed captioning provided by.
This closed captioning sponsorship is brought to you by
This closed caption sponsorship is brought to you by
Closed captioning for National Enquirer TV provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning for Home Team provided by Promotional fee for Home Team provided by
This closed caption sponsorship is brought to you by
Promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning for After Movies is sponsored by
Closed captioning provided by
Additional promotional consideration provided by
Promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Promotional considerations paid for by the following.
Promotional considerations paid for by the following.
Promotional considerations paid for by the following.
Closed captioning provided by travel consideration provided by
Closed captioning sponsored in part by
Fix It and Finish It closed captioning is provided by
What Went Down is sponsored by
Closed captioning provided by
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
promotional consideration provided by Closed captioning provided by promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning sponsored by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning for Pickler and Ben provided by
Promotional consideration for a current affair provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning brought to you by Promotional consideration brought to you by
Closed captioning for American Dad is brought to you in part by
Closed captioning and other consideration for Without a Trace provided by
Closed captioning sponsored in part by
Closed captioning and other consideration for Cold Case provided by
consideration for Celebrity Justice provided by
promotional consideration provided by
closed captioning provided by promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning brought to you in part by the U.S. Department of Education.
captioning provided by promotional consideration provided by
closed captioning provided by
closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning and other consideration with a Dr. Keith provided by
promotional considerations provided by
Closed captioning sponsored by
promotional consideration provided by promotional consideration provided by promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning sponsored in part by
Promotional consideration provided by
closed captioning provided by
closed captioning sponsored by
Closed captioning provided by the maker of the following product.
Promotional consideration provided by promotional consideration provided by
closed captioning for the real world provided by
Closed captioning is sponsored in part by
Closed captioning and other considerations for Eliminate provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning provided by
promotional verse business is provided by
Closed caption provided by
Closed captioning sponsored in part by
closed captioning sponsored in part by
Closed captioning sponsored by Closed captioning for Judge Joe Brown sponsored by
closed provided by promotional consideration provided by
this closed caption sponsorship brought to you by promotional consideration provided by
closed captioning and other consideration for Street Smarts provided by
Closed captioning and other considerations for the Ellen DeGeneres Show provided by
promotional considerations provided by
Tonight's closed caption episode of The X-Files is brought to you by
Closed captioning for the Wendy Williams Show is brought to you by Closed captioning is provided by Closed captioning provided by
a promotional fee has been provided by
Closed captioning has been made possible by the following sponsor.
promotional fees provided
promotional fees provided by
closed captioning provided by
closed caption is brought to you in part by
closed captioning and other consideration for extra provided by
closed captioning and other consideration for extra provided by closed captioning and other consideration for extra provided by
closed captioning by the following sponsor.
captioning and other consideration for Access Hollywood provided by...
Closed captioning and other consideration for Access Hollywood provided by...
Closed captioning and other considerations for Access Hollywood provided by...
Closed captioning and other considerations for Access Hollywood.
Closed captioning and other consideration for access provided by... Closed captioning and other considerations for all access provided by...
Closed captioning and other considerations for Access Hollywood provided by...
Promotional fees paid by...
Closed captioning, sponsored in part by... Closed captioning, sponsored in part...
Closed captioning is provided by... Closed captioning is provided by...
Closed captioning sponsored by...
Closed caption is provided by... Closed caption is provided by... Closed caption is provided by...
Closed captioning and other consideration for the Drew Carey Show provided by...
Closed captioning and other consideration for the Wayans brothers provided by... Closed captioning and other consideration for In the House provided by...
Closed captioning and other consideration for Judge Mathis provided by...
Closed captioning provided by...
Closed captioning provided by...
Closed captioning and other consideration for Anderson was provided by...
Closed captioning provided by...
Closed captioning provided by...
Closed captioning provided by... Promotional consideration provided by... Closed captioning provided by... Promotional consideration provided by... Closed captioning provided by... Promotional consideration provided by... Closed captioning provided by... Promotional consideration provided by... Closed captioning Promotional consideration provided by... Closed captioning provided by... Promotional consideration provided by...
Closed captions provided by...
Closed captioning provided by... Closed captioning provided by...
Closed captioning and other consideration for Friends.
Closed captioning provided in part by...
Closed captioning provided by... Promotional consideration provided by... Closed captioning provided by...
Closed captioning and other considerations for the West Wing provided by...
Promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning sponsored in part by
Closed captioning sponsored in part by
Promotional consideration by
Closed captioning and other considerations for Young Sheldon provided by
Closed captioning and other considerations for Young Sheldon provided by
Closed captioning and other considerations for Young Sheldon provided by
Closed captioning and other considerations for Young Sheldon provided by
Promotional consideration for extra provided by
Forensic Files brought to you by Promotional consideration for Forensic Files brought to you by
Closed captioning provided by Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning and other consideration for the People's Court provided by Closed captioning and other consideration for the People's Court provided by
Closed captioning for power of attorney is sponsored in part by
Closed captioning provided by Closed captioning for divorce court provided by Closed captioning provided by Promotional consideration provided by
Promotional consideration provided by
Promotional consideration provided by
Closed caption sponsorship for Inside Edition is
Closed captioning provided by Promotional consideration by
promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning is sponsored in part by Closed captioning is sponsored in part by Closed captioning is sponsored
Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning is sponsored in part by Closed captioning provided by Promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning provided by Promotional consideration provided by
Captioning provided by Closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning brought to you by Promotional considerations provided by
Closed captioning for Judge Faith brought to you by Promotional consideration for Judge Faith brought to you by
closed captioning provided by Vitech. Promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning for Scrubs is sponsored by
Closed captioning for Ambush Makeover is sponsored in part by Promotional consideration for Ambush Makeover is brought to you in part by
closed captioning sponsored in part by Promotional consideration provided
closed captioning provided by
Closed captioning sponsored in part by Promotional consideration provided by.
This closed caption sponsorship is brought to you by. Promotional consideration furnished by.
Closed captioning of the Bill Cunningham Show is provided by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning is made possible by the following sponsor.
Closed captioning provided by. Promotional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning has been brought to you by. Closed captioning provided by.
Closed caption sponsorship brought to you by. Promotional considerations provided by. Closed caption sponsorship brought to you by. Promotional considerations provided by.
Closed captioning sponsored in part by.
Closed captioning is provided by. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Closed captioning provided by. Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning brought to you in part by.
A promotional fee has been provided by.
Closed captioning brought to you by.
Closed caption provided by.
Closed captioning brought to you by.
Closed captioning for Family Guy is brought to you in part by.
Closed captioning for Family Guy is brought to you in part by.
Closed captioning for Family Guy is brought to you in part by.
Closed captioning for the Cleveland Show is sponsored in part by.
Closed captions are sponsored by.
Closed captioning provided by. Consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Promotional consideration provided by. Closed captioning provided by. Additional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for the Big Bang Theory provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for the Big Bang Theory provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for 2.5 Men provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for 2.5 Men provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for Mom provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for Mom provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for Mike and Molly provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for Two Broke Girls provided by.
Closed captioning brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Closed captions provided by. Promotional considerations provided by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning and for TMZ provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for the People's Court provided by.
Closed captioning and other consideration for the People's Court provided by.
Closed captioning on The Price is Right, paid for in part by.
captioning paid for in part by the following.
Closed captioning for Let's Make a Deal is paid in part by the following.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning for the Robert Irvine Show is provided by.
Captioning and other consideration for the Jamie Foxx Show provided by.
Closed captioning brought to you in part by the U.S. Department of Education and the following sponsor.
Closed captioning is brought to you by. Promotional fees have been paid by the following.
Paid by the following.
Closed captioning and other considerations for Access Daily provided by.
Closed captioning for the Ricky Lake Show is sponsored in part by. Promotional consideration for the Ricky Lake Show is sponsored in part by.
Closed captioning for Our World is brought to you by.
Promotional consideration provided by.
Promotional considerations for Our World are brought to you by.
Closed captioning sponsorship brought to you by. Promotional considerations provided by.
Hollywood and High Definition closed captioning sponsored by. Travel consideration provided by. Closed captioning sponsored by. Travel consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Travel consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Travel consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by. Travel consideration provided by. Travel consideration by.
Closed captioning provided by. Travel consideration provided by. Closed captioning provided by. Travel consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Promotional considerations provided by.
Closed captioning. Promotional consideration provided by. Closed captioning provided by. Promotional consideration provided by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning is brought to you by.
Closed captioning provided by.
Captioning for Boy Meets World is sponsored by. Closed captioning for Home Improvement is sponsored by.
Closed captioning for Alias is sponsored by.
Closed captioning on How I Met Your Mother is sponsored by. Narration on How I Met Your Mother has been provided by.
Closed captioning is sponsored in part by.
Closed captioning for Legend of the Seeker is sponsored by.
Closed captioning for Siskel and Ebert is sponsored by.
Inside every Hot Pockets ham and cheese.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roper in the movies is brought to you by.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roper is brought to you by.
Closed captioning.
Closed captioning provided by. Closed captioning brought to you in part by the U.S. Department of Education and the following sponsor.
Closed captioning provided by.
Closed captioning captioning paid for in part by
Closed captioning brought to you in part by Closed captions brought to you in part by
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by
Closed captioning sponsored in part by
Promotional consideration paid for by Promotional consideration paid for by
Promotional considerations paid for by the following.
Closed captioning and other consideration for the middle provided by
Closed captioning and other considerations for Anderson Live provided by
Closed captioning and other consideration for the closer provided by
Closed captioning and other consideration for the middle provided by
Closed captioning for Merv Griffin's crosswords provided by Closed captioning for Merv Griffin's crossword provided by For Merv Griffin's crosswords provided by
Closed captioning provided by. If you'd like to enter the Pyramid Super 6 sweepstakes, just log on to PyramidGameShow.com and learn how. Promotional consideration provided by
Closed captioning brought to you in part by the U.S. Department of Education and the following sponsor.